mag-MC sa baba.
Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po. So may attendance po tayo ngayon, no? Kasi bilang po ang croissant. So, may roll call po tayo. As we call your name, please stand up to be recognized. So, let's start with Dr. Antonio Alfonso, OYS 2008. Nandyan po ba si Sir? Naku, sasabihin pa ba yung year? So, ilan daw yung year? Alright. Si Dr. Philip Alviola. Hi, sir. And Ma'am Mary Janet Arnado. Hello po. Sir Nonilon Aspe. Hi, sir. And Sir Joseph Auresinia. Hi, sir. Good morning po. Of course, Ma'am Kathleen Aviso. Hi, ma'am. My batchmate. Sir Conrado Balatero, our speaker for today. Hello po, sir. Good morning. And we have Dr. Nathaniel Bantayan. Dr. Bantayan, hello, sir. Good morning po. We have Dr. Aimeline Barion Dupo. Hello po. And of course, we have Ma'am Teresita Borromeo. Baka nasa labas pa lang po. Okay, and we have, of course, we have Ma'am Merdeline Kaasilit. Hello po, good morning, ma'am. We have, of course, Ma'am Ida Dalmasio. All right. Of course, we have Ma'am Cora de Unglia. Hello, good morning. And, of course, Ma'am Maribel Dionisio Sese. Good morning, ma'am. And, of course, we have Dr. Wilfredo Dumale. Magandang umaga po. Hi, sir. Good morning.
Ikaw na. Tuloy mo na. Tapos na. Okay, sige po. So, akin naman ito. Si Al Gabriel. The other MC, the other partner in crime. Si Dr. Winresti Gallardo. Ayun si sir. Straight from Oman. Sir, di ba? And then JC Gonzalez.
Good morning.
Dr. Arnold Halyare. Kasi si sir. Ayun.
Hi, sir.
Ayun
Good
pala.
morning po.
Antonio Lalusin. Ayun.
Good morning, sir.
And Dr. Ino Lansigan. Kasi si sir. Ayun, si sir. Hi, sir. Siyempre, the other half, Dr. June Lit. Dr. Alan Patrick Macabeo.
Good morning.
And Jeffrey Perez. Jeffrey, ayun. Bago-bago siya 2017. Pwedeng sabihin 2017. Michael Angelo Promentilla.
Yan, batchmate ko rin yan.
Parang yung side natin, yung mga bata.
Yes, dito ako. Banda dito ako.
Doon kami.
Alright.
Alright, ang haba naman nito. Okay, sige. Gabi Romero, Dr. Gab.
Dr. Gabby.
Nagsiset up ng kanyang poster sa labas. And then, Dr. John Mark Velasco. Ayun. And then, Dr. J.R. Ventura. Ito OIS 2018. Bago lang din siya. Ma'am Irene Villaseñor. Ayun si Ma'am Irene.
Hi, ma'am.
And then, Dr. Lucille Villegas. And then, Aleta Iniguez. Si Aleta. And Jose Hernandez. Dr. Hernandez. Ayun si Sir. Dr. Graciano Yumol. Sir is here. Morning, sir. Dr. June Cordero. Pasyente Cordero. Asan si Sir? Si Sir, Sir, kayo yung first batch ng OIS, di ba? Second batch. Second batch. Sorry. Pero ang one thing, sir, every time na-attend ako ng OIC, nandyan kayo,
Perfect
sir.
attendance,
Perfect
sir.
attendance,
Yes.
sir. Every time. Dr. Ryan Visera. Ayun. Ikaw naman.
Hi. All right. Of course, we have our President, Ma'am Merlin Mendioro. Hello po. Of course, Dr. Wendell Rivera. Good morning po.
Parang board na to. Ito na yung board.
Dr. Maria Ginaline Diaz. Nangongolekta pa yata ng pondo. Si Dr. Heidi Galvez. Nandito na po ba?
Nagkukolekta din ng pondo.
Alright. Of course, si Ma'am Christina Binag. Hello po. Good morning. And we have Sir Roel Suralta. Kita ko na si Sir kanina. Ayan.
Ito ata yung mga bago.
Alright.
Ito na yung mga bagong OIS.
Ito na yung mga bago. No? Of course, we have Dr. Frolan Aya, OIS 2019. Wow.
Bata nga dito, bata kami dyan, bata kami.
Of course, we have Dr. Pia Bagamasbad. Good morning. We have Dr. Patricia Ann Haranilla Sanchez. Good morning. Dr. Nathaniel Oriliaza Jr. Okay. Dr. Marla Redillas. Dr. Lilibeth Salvador Reyes. Good morning. Sir Raymond Francis Sarmiento. Michael Francis Ian Vega II. Nandito na ba si Sir? And of course, Dr. Michael Velarde. Good morning po, Sir. Of course, we would like to recognize our national scientist, Luli Cruz. Good morning po. Academician Padolina, Academician Montoya, and of course, Dr. Rodora Asanza, my teacher. Good morning po.
Alright,
So
so
may mga pahabol po yata tayo
ito ba?
sa attendance. Hindi po kayo makakasali sa raffle.
Meron bang raffle?
May pakotse yata si Sir Muji eh. 1 million na sapsap, no?
Hindi, kasi si Muji dapat yung MC kasi academician na dam siya. Pinasa na sa amin yung role. Kaya kami na ngayon. Si Glenn at saka si Muji ang MC last time, di ba? Okay, sige, si Cyrines Mongkawe. Ano to? Attendance sheet ng OYS ba to? Hindi, ano yun? Natawag na yun. Alright. So, we should start?
I think we should start.
Okay. Sige. You're given 2 minutes to do your last things and then we'll start in 2 minutes.
Alright.
Balik na lang.
Yung mga hindi po natawag mamaya, tatawagin po
Opo.
natin. No? At sila po, dinala niyo po bang inyong -1? Dahil ngayon ang ating team ay Filipinas Got Talent. No? Ang inyong mga instrumento at inyong mga USB, no?
Hindi natin na-mention, isa sa mga pillar ng science ng Pilipinas. Ma'am, nag-register ba kayo? Ma'am May Mendoza is here.
Hi, ma'am. All right.
Okay. Sige, 2 minutes. Yes po. Good morning, Pastor. Balik natin. Pabalik na lang. Kunin ko na yun. Forward, forward, forward.
Tsaka yung nagpapalimutan.
So, i-advance na naman.
Takpan mo. Akit na ba ito? Please all rise for the singing of the national anthem to be followed by the invocation. Bayang magiliw, handa, awit. Bayang magiliw, belas ay silanganan. Alam na puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyang ka ng magiliw. Sa manlulupi, di ka pa sisilip. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simayan, sa langit mong bugla. May dilagang tula at awit sa pagnayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniling. Ang bituin ng araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng buwan at ipagsinta. Buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya
Okay. Invocation. Handa na po ba tayo sa invocation? Okay, you may now be seated.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 14th Annual Meeting and Scientific Convention of the Outstanding Young Scientists Incorporated. I am Al Gabriel, OYS 2013.
And I'm Cora de Ungria, OIS Once Upon a Time. Huwag na. Ano ba? Nilalagay niyo pa to?
May nakalagay sa script na kailangan basahin.
OIS Once Upon a Time. Okay, let's go. So we are your masters of ceremony for today's event.
So the theme of this year's convention is the Philippines Got Talent, Sustainable Education, Talent Retention and Development, focusing on the problem of brain drain in our country and ways to sustainably train and retain and employ scientists and engineers.
Okay, so Philippines Got Talents pala. Meron bang magvo-volunteer mamaya? Baka.
Alright, yung mga -1 po at mga USB ninyo.
Pakiabot na sa amin.
Si Secretary.
Nawawala si Raul Destura. Sana siya yung papa. Anyway, so let us especially also welcome, we welcomed everyone here a while ago, but let's especially welcome the OIC board members for 2018 to 2020. Sila po yung nagtrabaho. Kami po ay dakilang utusan lamang dito ngayon. So our President, Dr. Marilyn Minjoro is here. Vice President Mindel Rivera, Director ko po sa Institute kaya hindi ako makatanggi. Hindi pipirmahan yung aking progress report. Secretary Jenna Diaz, Treasurer Heidi Galvez, please pay your fees today. Public Relations Officer Marcos Valdez, he's not yet here. Is he here? And our members, Willie Abasolo, Ma'am Tina Binyag, Muj Santos, Alan Soriano, Roel Serralta, and of ex-official ex-president Glenn Gregorio, who also is now going to be recognized as the academician from last year. All right. So now to formally start the program and to welcome us all, let us call on Dr. Merlin Minjoro, our current president, OYS sometime. So Ma'am Merlin, please.
I know that Dr. Fortunato de la Peña will be coming over. Dr. Rodora Azanza, President of the National Academy of Science and Technology Philippines. Our national scientist, Dr. Lourdes Cruz. Academician William G. Padolina, our distinguished keynote speaker. To all our well-known plenary speakers. NAST Philippines Executive Director, Ma'am Luningning Samarita Domingo, to the new OYS awardees who will take their oath as new members, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the 14th Annual Meeting and Scientific Convention of the Outstanding Young Scientists Incorporated. Our theme is Philippines Got Talents, Sustainable Education, Talent Retention and Development. The country is faced with the brain drain issue for a long time, which is depriving the Philippine labor and scientific pool of much of its greatest talents. In 2013, UNESCO reported that there are only 189 scientific researchers in the Philippines per million citizens. Now the country needs 380 scientific researchers per million population. This means that we need to train an additional 19,000 scientists or researchers. Is there something OEC can do to help alleviate this problem? Let us ask ourselves, how come we remain to stay in the Philippines while others did not? Is there something wrong with the way we mentor our young researchers? What additional effort the government can do to make them return and stay in the Philippines? Can we entice the Filipino scientists abroad to come back and serve the Filipino people? Can we recommend sustainable ways to retain, train, and effectively utilize our talents? Let us learn from our speakers and consolidate all our insights regarding this matter. I hope that we can come up with possible recommendations on how the Filipino talents can be doing great roles to improve the lives of the Filipino people. On behalf of the board, I want to thank the NAST Philippines, the sponsors, all the members for supporting all the endeavors of OYSI and making this annual scientific meeting possible. To the new members of the OYSI and to OYSI members who will be conferred as new academicians of the NAST, congratulations, mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mendioro. We all know that we won't be here today without the Outstanding Young Scientists Award given by the National Academy of Science and Technology Philippines, or NAST Philippines. So for her opening message, let me call on Academician Rodora V. Azanza, DOST-Philippines President.
Napakagandang umaga sa ating lahat. Napakaganda na ating paligid at napakaganda na kanilang napiling theme sa araw na ito. I would like to greet our NAST academicians and national scientists, Luli Cruz, Academician Padolina, Academician Montoya, Academician Gregorio, Academician Mendoza, Academician Muji Santos, Academician Balmaceda, Academician Rasco, Academician Tan, and I'd like to, I hope Director Luningning Samarita is around. I'd like to congratulate and greet all the officers and members of OYS. I noticed that ang contest pala dito, pabataan. Buti na lang sa NAS, hindi sinasabi kung anong year kami naging academician, okay? Pabataan, okay? On behalf of DOST-Philippines, I congratulate the members of OYS for their continuing efforts on science and technology in order to address the country's pressing problems and in promoting and developing a strong science culture in the Philippines. I'd like to give you some good news, to provide some good news from NAST. We are one in trying to culture excellence in science. So NAST is going to solicit your cooperation in, actually it's ongoing now. We're going to prepare a foresight for science, technology, and innovation in the Philippines. So we would like to develop our STI ecosystem, so to speak. And we know that a lot of you are experts in your field. So actually, Academician Padolina was one of those who really suggested that we get talents from the young ones. So we will be soliciting your most recent, meaning updated biodata, very much detailed in terms of what you have been doing, especially in terms of science, technology, and innovation. So please, you will be asked to do this for that reason. And the other reason is that the NAST Execom lately has decided to have a proactive selection of academicians from the OYS ranks. Hindi ko naman ipapangako na lahat kayo magiging academician, ano? Ang sinasabi ko, we would like to see which ones are needed to be considered and nominated for the academician position. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that the NAST Execom also decided lately that we would like to support you in your travels abroad to present international papers. I noticed when I go out to represent DOST-Philippines, there are occasions when there are young scientists in the meetings, and I noticed that there were no Filipino young scientists. The Thais were very active and so on. And so I suggested to the NAST Execom, why don't we have a project to support the OYS in this regard, to attend meetings, to present papers. So it's going to be a project of OYS, but it will go through NAST, and the money will, of course, come from the OST. Yeah. Ha? May MOU kayo sa amin. Pagkakaroon kayo ng MOU or MOA with the NAST. Okay? Si Dr. Gregorio ang kausap namin dyan, no? Academician Gregorio. I think, no, Glenn? So you better come up with a good proposal. We will review this, and then we're going to recommend this to the DOST. Okay? You have chosen a very good topic. We want this to be supported not only by OYS, meaning your topic for today. And you have invited the expert, one of the experts on this topic, Academician Padolina. In fact, we have been talking with Senator Angara on this particular item. So the materials coming from here, we will input into the discussions we're going to have not only with Senator Angara. I will not talk much about this topic. You have the experts who will be talking on this. So at this point, I'd like to thank you all, and may you have a very productive morning, or I mean, even early afternoon, and may you continue to contribute to the country's science and technology development agenda. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Rod Asansa. At this point, we would like to call on Dr. Maria Jenaline Q. Diaz, OYS 2006, to introduce our keynote speaker.
Good morning, everyone. It is truly my pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker for today. He is no other than Academician William G. Padolina, OYS 1982. Academician William G. Padolina is a member of the Mathematical and Physical Sciences Division of the National Academy of Science and Technology, Philippines. He is the immediate past president of the Academy and is currently the focal person on talent retention and education development. Before serving as the president of NAST Philippines, Dr. Padolina was the Deputy Director General for Partnerships at the International Rice Research Institute and appointed secretary by President Fidel V. Ramos in 1994 and was retained by President Estrada until January 1999. During his term as DOST Secretary, he implemented a development agenda that included technological advances in agriculture, manufacturing and services, an education program focused on technological system and industry application and improvement of research and management system. Academician Padolina obtained his undergraduate degree in BS Agricultural Chemistry from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, and obtained his PhD in phytochemistry from the University of Texas. His achievements and contributions in our country through his professional career are too many to mention. But to sum it all up, Dr. Padolina is a scientist, a teacher, a researcher, and an administrator. Please welcome Academician William G. Padolina. Let us give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Jenaline, for your very kind introduction, and good morning to you all. I'd like to thank the OYSI for this kind invitation to share with you a few thoughts on a very urgent task that we all must commit to, and that is to make sure that we have a critical mass of workforce to ensure the vitality of our Philippine development agenda. Ayaw. Thank you. Okay. I think it is clear to everyone now that the findings of the World Economic Forum on the importance of the human capital is that it is a key factor in linking innovation, competitiveness, growth for the 21st century. What we really need is a critical mass of talent to address the development challenge of a growing population, to plan and implement a sustainable and inclusive economy, to broaden our development agenda, which is to give priority to the poor, and to recognize that our carrying capacity has limits. We cannot really aim at an infinite development scheme with very limited resources. We need to recognize that global competitiveness is not optional. We have to compete. And lastly, we have some challenge to put more science into what we perceive as environmental degradation and climate change. You are probably most aware that the problem is that the rising tide, we have a good GNP growth, but it is not able to raise all the boats. That is a big challenge. Those of you who negotiate the Quezon Avenue from here to UP will recognize the growing number of street dwellers, those who sleep in the sidewalk. It grows. I take that path almost every day, and it's a very depressing experience for me. It looks like the past city government has been helpless, and I don't know whether the national government is going to do something about it. The fact is, the benefits of progress are now flowing primarily to those who are already fortunate. So who can afford to segregate waste? Okay? Who can afford the luxury of using many kinds of schemes to be able to observe, reduce, recycle, and reuse? But I don't know if you are aware of the terms of Republic Act 8425, which defines the minimum basic needs of the Filipino, and that is survival, security, and an enabling system. These are further disaggregated by the law. This is a quote from the law itself on how we might look at the issue of survival, security, and enabling. And I don't know whether our development agenda and our research and development agenda addresses all of these. However, even with this law, you recognize that our campaign against poverty has not been very successful. It has stagnated at 20% for the last 8 years and even a decade. It's moved down a little bit. It is, in comparison to other ASEAN countries, a very minimal change. Furthermore, our overall performance in the World Competitiveness Ranking as of this year has gone down from 41 in 2017 to 46. Now, it went down to 50. And this is what really disturbs me, because it was at this time when we implemented the K-12 program that should have beefed up our standing, because that would have given the world standard length of training for those who are able to do productive work. Furthermore, our 2019 Global Talent Competitiveness Ranking, by the way, The previous slide is out of 63 countries, okay? The next slide is out of 125 countries. The Philippines is ranked 58. Sorry, what happened? 58, better than Thailand, but of course, very far from Singapore and Malaysia. Furthermore, look at this very disturbing slide. The number of graduates of STEM for countries whose population is lower than ours have more full-time equivalent researchers. You are still very active in academia. I wonder how much inspiration you are able to give to your students. Of course, maybe you're doing your best, but because you don't get the materials, you have to clear it with PIDEA, you have to clear it with PNP, you cannot get the releases from customs, your research associates and research assistants don't get paid for 2 years. Sino nga naman ba magiging interesado maging researcher? Okay? I tell you, the situation is not improving. The problems I had in 1994 as secretary has not changed because I have now been engaged on ground work with PICARI. It has not changed. So there is a big challenge that we have to really move as your emerging leaders of science and technology. This is a very disturbing slide. And I'm glad Vic Paqueo of PID has generated this. Okay? This is from PRC. You can see where we are very weak. For a country that is maritime, for us to be able to address our environmental issues, for us to be able to also address our mining systems, the talents are really very, very minimal. And I'm sure they are overworked. Okay? Furthermore, you have the hemorrhage. Okay? And the hemorrhage is increasing. Look, this is times 100. And this is for 1 year. And I've looked at the trend. It's almost about 50,000 a year that leave us as professionals and engineers. 50,000 a year since about 10 years ago. So that's about how much the hemorrhage has become. The problem is, as you already know, as academics, knowledge does not diffuse on its own. It's not going to come to us unless we do something about it. It has to be transmitted. It has to be received. And there are barriers at both ends. Developing human capital is not really an easy task. You need to make sure that you have access to education. We're good at that. We have free tuition with the SUKs. But are we able to attract the most talented individuals? And that's what I'd like to suggest for our scholarship programs. You have to mine and sort. You have to look for them. Don't depend on the pipeline. The UPCAT admission form, application form, does not reach the barangay in the far-flung mountains of Mindanao. And if they ever reach these guys, they won't even have the money to return the application form to the poblacion or take the UPCAT in the poblacion. You have lost a lot of genius out there. We got to mine and sort with 100 million people and 50% below 24 years old. What a treasure. Singapore is having a hard time producing 30,000 babies a year. Here we are, we have 50% of our population below 23, and we're not able to harness them. Okay? We are faced by also a good number of disruptors. Biotechnology, nanotechnology, sensorization, and the Internet of Things, big data, artificial intelligence, and autonomous systems. You're all familiar with this. But you're also faced with the fourth industrial revolution, which is paired with what people say as the sixth extinction. Because over the last 500 million years, 5 mass extinctions have taken place. We are about to face, according to these observers, the sixth extinction, where diversity suddenly and dramatically contracts. What I'd like to point out here is that innovation is not just on technology, based on technology. A lot of us are going to have to play an important role. The basic sciences. Unfortunately, I could count probably with my 10 fingers the number of universities that maintain departments of chemistry, departments of biology, departments of physics, departments of earth science, as separate departments. But they offer chemical engineering, mechanical engineering. So I asked them, what kind of engineering do you have if you don't have a department of physics? What kind of chemical engineering do you produce if you don't have a department of chemistry? What kind of pharmacists do you produce if you don't have a department of chemistry? What kind of medical doctors do you produce if you don't have a department of biology? This is overlooked because the enrollments are low in these basic sciences, but this is, in fact, the foundation of innovation. And Robert Solow, who won the Nobel Prize in 1987, identified that the basic sciences were really the triggers of progress in most of the advanced economies. Let us look at the status of the current talent pool in the Philippines, just cursorily. And let me use the SUCS as an indicator. There are 100 state universities and colleges. Look at the decline in the faculty for the last 3 years. This includes UP. I will not reveal some of the details, but this is a picture of the decline, especially in the younger set of those who we can nurture. Because you cannot replace a retiring faculty overnight. You have to nurture them from the time they're taken in as an instructor, because we don't have the market. We don't have the market of PhDs whom you can expect to apply for a vacant position in the professoriate. What we do here is to nurture them. I went through that process. I was taken in as an instructor. Dr. Banso nurtured me, encouraged me to go abroad. When I returned, he continued to nurture me, and that's where I am now, okay? But you can see the number of PhDs is not really moving up very much. Of course, this is a 3-year projection. I do not know how to explain this because this was the time when we were starting the K-12 program. So I don't know if the SUCs were forced to reduce their faculty. But as you can see, this has long-term implications. The other thing to observe is that in areas where growth is very fast, like Davao, there is a decrease in talent in the SUCs. So we don't seem to be able to plan this very carefully, because then the guidance they need to be able to address minimum basic needs and the technology explicit agenda is not provided. Furthermore, as you can already see here, there's a net decrease of 3,000 faculty members over the 3 years. That's big, 3,000. And I don't know whether that hemorrhage is part of the OFW system. Good morning, Secretary de la Peña. Okay, let me continue. This is how DOST is trying to correct the situation. According to the Secretary's report last year, DOST supported 36,000 scholars. And they are also supported by the Balik Scientist Program. We have the Bangon Marawi HRD program. You have 84 MD PhD scholars and 1,997 or 2,000 science teachers to improve their competence in teaching STEM. I suppose these are the grades 11 and 12 teachers. This is how we are training our technical and vocational talent pool. Very, very biased towards ICT. Look at how many are being trained in agriculture and fisheries. Construction. We are very lucky here that when we turned on the lights, water did not flow. And when you flushed the toilet, the lights went up. In many constructions now of residences, my friends tell me that's what happens. When you turn on the switch, it's water that flows. And when you turn on the faucet, it's the lights that turn on. Because you don't have the plumbers and the electricians who are well trained. There they are. They're not being trained even. See? I'm not sure whether this is a good thing. But I think we need to balance this and make sure that those who are not really well attended to will have a better chance of getting trained. We take for granted these talents: the clerks, service workers, crafts, plant and machine operators, elementary occupations like even janitors. Sometimes you complain about how they clean, okay? And how they're able to, well, your clerks, of course, give you the support system in offices. But as early as 2010, the World Bank already said you're going to have a shortage of skilled workers. How did we respond to this? Did we have a crash program? Did we ignore the report? Are we brushing all of this under the rug? Okay? So let's look at some issues and concerns in retaining our talent pool. Basically, those that have just issued recent reports that our education system, our scientific infrastructure, our basic infrastructure, our environment need to be corrected. The global talent competitiveness index identifies substandard formal education and low ability to retain talent. The problem is very grave at the start. You have a very high magnitude and severity of stunting and malnutrition of school-age children, from 61 to 228 months. Now, how can we train people who are undernourished. And only 3 out of 10 Filipino households were found to be food secure. This is an FNRI information. Teacher competence, study by Chat Manasan. Look at this. Knowledge is low in most subjects. Number of PhDs in the whole HEI system is only 12%, 13%. And again, Chat Manasan's study tells us that the quality of instruction in HEIs is generally low. Worrisome is that there are HEIs, both private and public, with 0 passing rates in the professional board exams, but they continue to exist. Okay? With large number of low-quality HEIs, indicative of a large number of low-quality HEIs in our private sector. This is an interesting study of Dr. Saloma, and you probably are familiar with this. It takes very long to finish your graduate degree. This is a UP study. Of course, the NIP stands out as a very efficient system. So let me proceed by giving some ideas on how we might expand and retain our talent pool. I think the Philippine Science High School is a good idea. I just don't know how many of the 16,000 or 19,000 graduates are now engaged in research and development. That's since the 1960s when PHSH was established. Furthermore, we have the Magna Carta for scientists and engineers working in government or technologists. We have the scientific career system. I think with 5 of those from the OISI added to this, it's now 52. That's still very low for the whole of government. We have a modified Balik Scientist law, which hopefully will attract more of our expatriates to come. But this Memo 16 was a revelation to me. Signed by no less than President Duterte. Look at this. This is to ease existing restrictions on foreign participation in the following areas and our activities. Teaching at higher education levels. There is already that political will. I don't know whether we are responding to it. And I don't know how you look at it. Furthermore, we need to look at some aspects of how we operate in attracting and retaining faculty, especially in Philippine HEIs. Do we have an attractive compensation package? Do we allow for a lateral entry of faculty, given that you are given entry-level items by DBM, and it's so difficult to adjust? So if somebody has a teaching experience of 10 years abroad and wants to really return for good, and you offer him her or an assistant professor one, where's my water? Somebody is trying to stifle me. That's okay. Thank you. Amend the dual citizenship law. It's a very funny law because in the same law it says we encourage you to become a dual citizen, but do not work for government. It's in the same law. So I think there are moves to amend it. I think UP has suffered a lot from this because they had to dismiss a lot of dual citizens who were teaching in their school. Let us hire foreign faculty and researchers, open it up for maybe a decade so we can have new blood infused, and then we probably will reach an inflection point where we can do it on our own and we have a critical mass. But if you are going to depend on just the scholarships, it's going to be very slow. And by the time we reach the point where we have critical mass, a lot of the science has probably changed already. We need to reform our graduate studies program. I gather from many of my interviews with scholars, especially with Stride, that their theses were supported by their own pockets. That practice has to stop. Do not accept graduate students if you don't have funds to support the research. Do not accept them. Who can afford a 1 million budget out of pocket? And that's a very decent level of research. If it's 160,000 as CHED gives and 80,000 for an MS, what kind of thesis are you going to do? Perform with that. That's only 10 gallons of acetone. I mean, you know how much it costs. So what is the consequence? It's reflected in our publications program. And it's reflected in our competitiveness because we're really solving the same problems among the ASEAN countries. Okay? Adequate support for scholars, including a review of the conditions of the contract, including the necessity of contracts, whether these contracts are implementable and whether there are provisions that are onerous. For example, we say return service. Where is the guarantee of employment? Okay? Now, these are just a few suggestions. You can think of more. You're still on the ground and active. I've been looking at it from a distance, although with PICARI, I've been struggling with many of these challenges. But collaboration is very important because we are connected, and the rising contributions of scientists and engineers from all continents have broadened the possibilities of human creativity. And fortunately, DOST has bilateral, regional, multilateral, international S&T collaborations. I hope this is funded adequately. CHED has the PICARI project, which is connected with the University of California system, funded fully by the Philippine government. But we still need to do a lot of work. And I just want to repeat the elements of developing human capital as articulated by Asimoglu and Autor. And that is access to education, and the human capital of the workforce influences the pace of technological change. So if we don't have the critical mass, our technological change is very slow. When Alvin Toffler visited us in 1998, early 1998, hosted by a dinner Senator Angara hosted a dinner. He said, "You are first world in entertainment." But the rest is probably not there yet because we have the latest TV, we have the karaoke, we have all of these things. When we stage a play, all the lights are there. I wonder why this doesn't have a rotating disco disc. But thirdly, the composition of the workforce affects the direction of technological progress. So If we have a composition that doesn't have an expertise, let's say in oceanography, then we cannot address issues in oceanography. Excuse me. Or in mining, or in recycling, or in plastics. That is the challenge that we have to face. So with this, I hope I have tickled your mind a little bit. You are going to be responsible for the next generation, and I think we will all have to see a picture that has probably improved significantly with the commitments that all of us have made in this particular endeavor. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much po, Academician Padulina. Academician Padulina has provided us the current studies of Philippine science and the challenges we face in order to find creative and aggressive solutions to these challenges. We need to tap our minds, our scientific minds, in partnering with government and private sectors. Sir, tanong ko lang, baka pwede tanungin natin ng OIC. Ilan sa OIC ang Pisay? Pwede po ba kayong tumayo? Kung Pisay kayo, please lang, para mapakita natin kay Sir Padulina. Mga Pisay dyan. Philippine Science High School, whatever region at whatever year. Meron po. Wala ba? Ako, Pisay ako. Pisay batch some time ago. Pisay? Walang Pisay? My gosh. Nag-aaral daw, kaya wala. Uy, hindi ah. Okay, sige. Alright, so that was just a attendance call. Next time, kausapin natin si Ma'am Bio. Pupuntahin niyo yung Pisay doon. Alright. Anyway, so thank you very much po, sir. So this is like a wake-up call, a whistle, a blow, a whistle call for all of us. We've been faced with the statistics, with the realities, and then the question is, what are we going to do? So thank you very much, Sir Padulina, for giving us this information. Now, we proceed with the next. Medyo nag-ano lang po tayo. And also, when I was reflecting, sir, alam ko, inspirational message sa inyo. And today, as I was asking the OIC board, ano ba itong Philippine Got Talent? And I think with the talk of Academician Padulina, it really honed in on what I was reflecting on this morning. I don't know if you realized 1 year ago, today was the second last day of the rescue of the 12 boys of the Wild Boar soccer team in Thailand last year and their coach. July 9, I think 8 na yun na ilabas nila, yung 5 na lang hinihintay including the coach. 13 sila in total. And I was listening to Academician Padulina, pasyaran siya sa analogy. I was just reflecting on that 2 kilometers of dark tunnel in the cave, where there was murky water. According to the British divers, you cannot see your hand unless you put your hand to your face. And the boys, so that they could be rescued with their coach, they had to go through a very tough time. They had to be sedated, put in this thing, and then people holding hands, well, not holding hands, holding them, and work together to get those 13 people out of those caves. And many people did not believe it was possible. They were actually preparing for a recovery being you recover the dead bodies, not a rescue. So I was watching this morning as I was reflecting, and I was listening to Academician Padulina. I was thinking, sometimes in our lifetime as a researcher, andyan si Ma'am Carla, usap na lang tayo mamaya. Sometimes in our life as researchers, we face through the same 2 kilometers of dark tunnel. We don't know where the money's coming from. We don't know where we're going to get those RAs. We don't know if we're going to get approved for our next project grant. We just don't know. But those boys showed us a perfect lesson of hope. To conserve what they had, and they were being interviewed. The little boy, Mark, was the last one, number 13. They had him last because masyado siyang maliit and the mask could not fit in his face. And when he was asked, were you scared? Ang sabi ng mga bata, when I was watching the videos this morning, the boy said, we didn't lose hope because we know somebody is going to come and save us. And so I think now with this, with coming together, konti lang tayo, hindi namin binilang, I think that's what OIC and DOST, as I introduced, Secretary Boy de la Peña, that's what this helps us. We cannot be researchers on our own. We need to partner and collaborate, go to OIC, go to DOST, go to PCHRD, go to NAST, go to the organizations, because we cannot move science forward if we do not work together. And so remembering the boys there this morning as I watched the video, one video, kasi tomorrow is the last day of the one-year recovery. And they were there full of hope, even if they didn't have food. And they were also wise. Hindi nila ininom yung tubig from there. They waited for the drops of water from the stalactites, because they know if they start being corrupt, sa atin yan, we don't do the bad things, because that will kill us. But they waited patiently for the right drops of water from the stalactites so that they could continue on living. So with that, I think that hones in very much after Academician Padolina's lecture. And today we are very fortunate, again, to have our very busy and hardworking Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology. Plug-in din lang, Secretary Boy. First episode ng DOST Siyan Sikat last Sunday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. GMA 7. So 26 episodes yan, sir? So ito naman, panoorin ninyo. Nag-first episode na last Sunday. Every Sunday, nag-shoot ang DOST, sponsored ng DOST, primetime, 4 o'clock ng linggo, is to actually show how science and different scientists have provided solutions to current problems in the Philippines. And I guess I invite, and DOST invites all of us to watch how we scientists can provide creative solutions to today's problems, so that in doing that, we continue having hope. So now, having said all that blurb, let us welcome Dr. Fortunato de la Peña for an inspirational message. Sir?
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Binabati ko ang lahat ng ating mga scientists at researchers na naririto. Hindi ko na iisa-isahin. Sa harap ko, nakikita ko si National Scientist Luli Cruz, of course. And then our keynote speaker, si Dr. Padolina, ang Pangulo ng ating si Dr. Rodora Asansa. Natutuwa ako at katable ko si June, former USEC June Yumul, na ilang taon tayo? 10 taon ba tayo? 14 na taon yata kami magkasamang USEC. Anyway, siguro naman lahat ay nakakaintindi ng Pilipino dito. Ako po ay magpipilipino. Una, natutuwa ako dahil taon-taon ay kinukumbida ako ng OYS. Taon-taon naman nahuhuli ako. Tama-tama lang yun kasi nadidinig ko pa yung unang speech para alam ko kung paano ako mag-i-inspire. Okay. So, napakaganda naman ng pagkakapresent ni Dr. Padolina. In fact, yung pinesent niyang report ni Dr. Saloma, may update na yon. I think within this week, lalabas na yung update niya regarding the study on graduate scholarships. And ang sabi ko nga, kung pwedeng i-endorse ng, academician siya ng NAST, i-endorse ng NAST sa amin para maging parang policy recommendation. And siguro, ang uulitin ko lang na statistics or ang babanggitin ko lang dito yung nakuha kong statistics on the outflow of science and technology professionals. Kasi ang ating team, how to, ano ba tawag dito, retain or ano. So, ang statistics lang dito, ang available lang, noong 1998, ang outflow I suppose ito yung net, is 9,877 scientists going out or professionals. And in 2009, more than 10 years later, it increased to 24,502. If we can get the figures now, I don't know. Most likely it has increased again. But really, I think, ang sabi nga nila, kahit saan naman, erong mobility of science workers. And ako hindi ko sinisisi yung mga umaalis, no? At yun naman maraming factors na nagbibigay dun sa kanila, nagli-lead sa decision na umalis. Ganon din naman, yung mga bumabalik ay meron ding mga factors na kinoconsider. At DOS this end, nakita ko din yung presentation ni Dr. Padolina, but let me just do it in summary form. We are doing human resource development work in the form of scholarships primarily. In terms of statistics, yung freshman scholars noong 2015 was 5,000 slots, 5,000 binigyan ng award. Wala tayong freshman scholar noong 2016 at 2017. Naghintay tayong graduate ang grade 12. Noong 2018, we had 8,000. So that was ilan yun? 60% jump from 5,000 to 8,000. Of course, made possible also by DBM's support for our scholarship funding. This year, it was more than 9,000 new scholars. Again, with the continued support of DBM. Meron din kasing savings kasi yung pangmatrikula sa yung tuition sa SUCs, for example, wala na yon. So we were able to increase the benefits from 5,000 to 7,000 a month. And meron na rin silang research or parang yung senior project research funding, okay, for our undergraduate scholars. Ang ating graduate scholars, of course, tumaas na rin. Sa MS, walang problema in terms of yung mga kumukuha, nag-a-avail. Sa PhD, hindi pa ganun kaganda ang take-up. Okay? And siguro, ang magandang balita lang doon ay nagpapadala na rin tayo ngayon sa abroad ng scholarships kung kailangan doon sa mga specific areas. Ang parati kong binabanggit yung case ng mga nauubos ng mga experts sa Los Baños in certain areas, naubos na raw yung mga soil scientists, naubos na yung entomologists na pinaaral ng, naging mga scholars nung araw. So ngayon, meron tayong mga ganong program, both in agriculture, in industry, in engineering, and in the health sciences. Nabanggit kanina yung MD PhD program na nagpo-produce na tayo at the rate of supposed to be, kasi 10 ang intake natin dyan. Ang huling-huli natin, Jimmy, na nakagraduate. 50 ang intake, pero ilan yung graduate this year? 4, pero may nagka-catch up pa. Alam niyo, hanga ako dito sa mga scholars ng MD PhD program. 12 taon silang nag-aaral mula sa pre-med nila hanggang sa makatapos ng MD PhD. And kung makakausap mo sila, ay ano pa naman, inspired pa sila to work. And yan ngayon ang tinitingnan natin kung maa-absorb ba lahat yan ng ating National Institutes of Health o saan sila dadalhin. Merong mga ibang inaano namin mag-postdoctoral fellows abroad, pero yun aral na naman yun, kumbaga. But really, we have to find placements for these graduated scholars. Other than the scholarships, of course, na sinusupply natin, meron mga other countries na or neighbors na nagbibigay sa atin ng mga scholarship support. Like ang Taiwan ay merong available na scholarship slots for PhDs, 10 a year. Hindi pa rin napupuno. Okay? At yun namang there are other embassies abroad who try to find collaboration in their respective workplaces. So, doon sa Canada, yung Consul General sa Alberta was able to arrange na kung sino ang mag-aaral ng graduate scholarship sa University of Alberta, ay ang ibabayad nilang tuition ay kapareho lang ng local citizens. No? So, that would be a lot cheaper. At meron pang ibang mga bilateral agreements na may mga provisions for scholarships. Now, with respect to research and development, I think the only way we can encourage our people is to really provide opportunities for them. And maybe, this is just maybe the program that we have adopted of really being inclusive in the sense that we encourage the research centers in the regions to really upgrade their capabilities. We have named what we call niche research centers in the regions, would encourage young people or our people to stay. I have been only to a few nicer centers, but I have seen some encouraging results. I was in Isabela State University where they were given a recognition for a niche research center for freshwater eel and ludong ba yun? Yung isang klase ng fish. Ludong. And I saw the efforts of ewan ko kung member dito yon si Dr. ano ba apelyido? Angeles yata. Sila yung mga nag-PhD sa Taiwan. Actually, they were a group from Isabela State U na pagbalik nila, of course, ay sinet up nila yung kanilang Institute of Fisheries. Now, they really are carrying out very good R&D on freshwater eel and ludong and other species. He has encouraged practically all of the graduating students from BS Fisheries to work in his research. And half of them are taking their MS right there. So, sabi ko, pasensya ka na, hindi ka pala delivering institution ng DOST for the master's degree. In other words, the students there working on their MS are not DOST scholars. You know? So it is their own provision and also the incentives being given by Isabela State U for research assistance. So, yung mga ganon, of course, very well told na yung story sa University of San Agustin. According to Dr. Saludes, there were 135 institutions that visited them within a period of 1 year to see their pharmaceutical research center. Ang pratikong kinukulit sa kanila, kailan ba matutuloy yung PhD program nyo with UST? Kasi ang pharmacy ay isinama na natin sa list of DOST undergraduate scholarships. Ano? And hindi ko alam kung ilan ang nag-o-offer ng PhD program sa pharmacy. Ang laki-laki pa naman ng drug development program natin, kailangan yung mga experts in that area. Now, in the area of technology utilization, we have seen the work of particularly 2 councils. Wala pa yung PCHRD in this area. Ito yung sa mga startups. Okay? And I have seen the work of PSHERD and PICARD in setting up incubators. Ang parati ko sinasabi naman nun, i-widen niyo yung area for startups. Hindi yung puro software development lang ang ating gagawin. Ang dami-dami naman pwedeng gawin trabaho at business. Ano? So again, nung nakakita ako kasi we have a well-funded research on goat, no? Doon din sa Isabela, kasi doon ako galing recently, ipinresent yung 15 graduates of their incubation program. Hindi pala siya, they were not in-house. They were incubated outside. Okay? So, ang pinakamaganda kong example yung doktor siya, pero palagay ko BetMed. He's a young doctor. Doktor ang kanyang title na ang service kasi sa sa livestock, itong artificial insemination. Usually, yan ay ginagawa din ng mga universities o kaya ng mga government agencies. Pero in some places, hindi siya accessible. So itong young doctor na ito, tinulungan nilang mag-start up to put up a business, a private business on artificial insemination services. And he is doing quite well. Now, in building the environment that is conducive to research and development, what we are undertaking now is a bold move to follow strictly the IRR of the ease of doing business law. Okay? You might think, how can DOST do that? Considering that our process for reviewing project proposal takes long. Alam ni Dr. Yumul to kasi ang tagal niyang naging head ng R&D. And up to now, yung mga project proposal isasubmit. Okay? Hahanap ka ng technical working group na magre-review na usually external experts na kokonti. At kung meron man dyan, not willing. Dahil matrabaho, at wala naman tayong binabayad na maayos. Tapos, yan gagawa. Kung meron ka ng TWG, gagawa ng comments, may suggestions sa proponents, ibabalik mo sa proponent, yung proponent, ibabalik uli, hindi naman sinunod lahat yung mga sinabi, yung TWG, ibabalik na naman, pag ganun-ganon, pabalik-balik, inabot na ng 6 na buwan, inabot na ng 1 taon, sayang. Naluma na yung proposal, okay? At saka yung ibang high priority projects, naghihintay din naman, hindi ba? So, ngayon, itong bagong monitoring and evaluation system na idinidiscuss sa iba't ibang regions ay tinatalakay kung paano makakasunod ang DOST sa 40 working day deadline for processing a proposal. Hindi ko alam kung paano na masusunod, pero ang ibig lang sabihin nito, una working days. Okay? Hindi magsisimula ang bilang hanggang hindi tinatanggap na kumpleto ang dokumento. Okay? So kung hindi pa kumpleto, hindi pa counted sa 40 working days. Okay? At bibigyan lang kayo ng deadline pag ibinalik sa inyo, meron lang 7 araw yata na bago nyo ibalik yung proposal to include or to act on the suggestions. At isang balikan lang. Pag hindi pa nyo sinunod sa balik na yon, meron na kayong decision. Okay? Kaya, ang mangyayari dito, ang pagsasubmit ng proposals ay synchronized din. Hindi yung submit kayo ng submit anytime na gusto nyo mag-submit. May period of submission kasi gusto din naming ma-compare yung mga proposal against each other. Hindi ka mukha ngayon na ipoprocess ito. There is practically no way of comparing it with another more deserving proposal. Kasi pagka pumasa na siya, approve na, release na yung pera, and it is a continuous process. Okay? Hindi siya batch process. Anyway, I just have a short request to OYS. Baka yung sasabihin ko ay outdated na dahil hindi ako updated sa mga developments. Pero una, foundation na ba ang OYS? It's a corporation. Oo, kasi ini-encourage ko na yung mga private groups na gustong makipag-partner sa DOST, kung pwede siyang ma-register as a Certified Science and Technology Foundation. Kasi parang mas mabilis sa aming maglabas ng grant if you are an accredited Science and Technology Foundation. Hindi naman mahirap. Pangalawa, ipakita nyo sa akin ang 10-year plan ninyo para maplano rin namin kung paano tayo magko-collaborate. Pangatlo, help us get optimum results from the graduates of our scholarship. Hindi ko alam kung anong project ang pwede nating pagtulungan na magawa natin ang paraan na magkaroon ng tamang pupuntahan yung mga graduate ng ating scholarships, lalo na yung mga PhD at MS scholars. alam naman natin na hindi ang DOST ang nagko-control ng ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Ano? Kahuli-hulihan nga tayong tinatanong eh. Pero hindi naman magkakaroon ng mga bagong kumpanya na gagamit ng mga graduate natin kung hindi maganda ang business o economic environment o kung hindi naman attractive na mag-set up ng mga technology businesses sa Pilipinas. Kanina nagtanong si Cora kanina kung ilan ang graduate ng Philippine Science High School dito. Siguro kung tatanungin mo yung mga Philippine businesses, ilan ba sa kanila ang nasa kanila man lang ano tawag dito, plano yung magkaroon ng technology-based businesses other than building condominiums and building malls and all of this. No? Kahit nga yung mga local investors, ilan-ilan yung nag-i-invest ng may technology component, siyempre, yung foreigners, mag-invest man, ay tinitingnan din nila kung ano yung mga plus na dito sila maglo-locate sa Pilipinas. So yung mga ibang developments that would encourage foreign direct investments are, I think, good. Sige, mamaya ko na lang babanggitin yung tungkol sa plano ng Economic Development Cluster. And lastly, I think we need a program also coming from the OYSI na supportive of yung mga projects under Science for Change, particularly yung NEETs research centers at saka yung CRADL program wherein we encourage collaboration between industry and the academe. Okay? Meron na, although may feedback kahapon yata or the other day coming from an inventor, bakit daw ba tinutulungan pa yung mga researcher na yan? Dapat inventor na lang ang tulungan. And finally, I dream of some kind of institutionalization of the graduation of OYS people to NAST. Hindi ko alam kasi kung ano ang sistema. Paano ba nagiging academician coming from OYSI? Nung pumunta ako sa Malaysia 2 years ago, actually, hindi pa ako secretary noon. Ako hindi ko nga matandaan kung ba't ako kinumbida. But I had a chance to talk before the Academy, Malaysia Academy of Sciences. Okay? And I had a chance to do some comparisons. Meron tayong mapupulot sa kanila at meron din silang mapupulot sa atin. Nasabi ko na yata ito no isang taon pero uulitin ko. Yung kanilang academy ay malaki. So they have around 300 members. Okay? And sabi nila, wala naman kasi may problema. We can induct any number we want. Kasi walang financial implication sa kanila. Basta kung ikaw ay deserving maging academician, i-elevate ka nila to be an academician. Wala silang national scientist. Okay? Basta yung mga sobrang outstanding na at sobrang tanda na, ginagawa na nilang fellows. Okay? Wala ding limit. Okay? Pero meron silang, hindi ko alam how they treat the young scientists. Parang meron silang Young Scientist Academy which is part of their academy. Okay? Kaya sabi ko, parang maganda yun. Parang institutionalized yung transition from young scientist to the academy. Ito naman ang natutuhan nila sa atin na in-interview ako pagkatapos kasi parang nagustuhan nila. Ano daw ba yung sistema ng national scientist? Sabi, in-explain ko sa kanila. Okay? Unfortunately, yung minister na nakausap ko, napalitan agad. Hindi ko alam ngayon kung ano na nangyari sa kanila. At meron pong trend, i-warn ko na kayo, hindi ko alam kung warning yon or inspiration. Ang trend po ay mini-merge na ang higher education at science and technology. Ginawa na sa Indonesia, ginawa na sa Malaysia, ginawa na sa Thailand. Of course, matagal na ginawa sa Japan. Okay? Pumunta ako sa France. Ang kapirmahan ko ay Minister of Higher Education and Research. And hindi ko alam kung anong mangyayari dito sa atin. may mga plus, may mga minus, no? Pero napakahirap siguro under the present setup. Anyway, meron din akong project na in-encourage ko ang NAST. Hindi ko alam kung si Dr. Asansa ang nagli-lead. Yung nakopya ko din sa Malaysian Academy of Science kasi sila ay gumawa ng foresight plan. Yung plan nila up to 2050, pero ang gumawa ay ang academy. But the plan is not only science. It's really the whole economic plan. Okay? Kaya nung pagdating ko dito, ay nag-set up na kami ng project. Siguro itong mga young scientists natin, malaki ang maigo-contribute. Kasi siyempre, sila yung future nila ang involved dito. Hindi na sa atin. So, yun lang po ang gusto kong sabihin. Maraming masarap ikwento. Kanina, bring up ni Dr. Padulina yung tungkol sa nutrition. Noong July 1, nung cabinet meeting, ay pinag-present ang DOST tungkol sa DOST-Philippines at saka dun sa Hazard Hunter app na ilo-launch sa July 16. Kasi hindi naman kami nagpresenta, pero in fact, sabi namin kung pwedeng sa August na kami magpe-present dahil hindi pa na ilo-launch. July 16 pa lang ilalabas. Pinag-report na kami sa cabinet and siyempre, ewan ko kung naintindihan niya, pero ang utos ngayon ay for all departments to upgrade yung kanilang mga technologies related to disaster preparedness. Okay? At nung bandang huli ng item ng agenda, nag-present ang DSWD on their 4Ps. 4Ps. Then nakikinig kami lahat. Siyempre, may bahagi doon na tungkol sa pagtulong sa mga nag-aaral. Di ba? Parang meron silang binibigay na help para siguradong makaaral yung mga bata. So, biglang nagtanong ang Pangulo. Sabi niya, Secretary Briones, may nakakain ba pag-resist ang mga bata? Ewan ko kung ba't niya naitanong yun. Tapos, nung bandang huli, nagpapakompute siya. Sabi niya, kung papakainin ba natin lahat ng bata sa recess, magkano magagasta natin? So, may mga figures na, na medyo malaki. So, naputol doon. Ang konti, nagtanong na naman, Secretary Briones, bakit ba tayong Pilipino mahina sa math? Doon na si Secretary Briones, hindi totoo yan, Mr. President. Ang ibig niya sabihin, kung meron mang mahihinang bata sa math, hindi yun epekto ng, hindi siguro epekto ng genetics yun. Okay? Kung meron mang epekto ang genetics, baka konting-konti lang. Kung hindi yung environment at saka yung manner they are being taught. So nagkaroon ng mahabang debate doon, ayoko nang sumali, pero nung bandang huli, nagsalita na rin ako. Sabi ko, kasi July 1 yun ng gabi kami nag-meeting. Noong July 1 ng hapon, ako ang speaker sa recognition rights ng UP College of Engineering. So naikwento ko, parang pagmamayabang ba. Sabi ko, I just wanted to share with you this information, some kind of comparison. Sabi ko, when I, together with my batch, graduated in 1969, exactly 50 years ago, there were 240 of us who graduated from the UP College of Engineering. And there were 3 honor graduates. Okay? 1 magna cum laude, and that is the late Professor Leonardo Leongson, and 2 cum laudes. Hindi ko na matandaan kung sino. Today, there are 900 graduates. Of course, that included the MS and PhD. And there were more than 250 summa, magna, and cum laudes. More than 25% of the graduating class. So, ang punto ko sana nun ay sabihin, mas magagaling nga ngayon ng mga bata. Di ba? Kung titingnan mo. Kinuwestiyon ni Secretary Dominguez. Sabi niya, I read in the news that there are 55 summa cum laudes in UP Diliman alone. Out of so many students, is that not unusual? Sabi nga para bang ang tono niya, baka namumura na yung mga laude-laude. Anyway, hindi na ako sumagot at baka humaba lang ang usapan. Gusto ko sanang sabihin, ang nakakapasok lang kasi ngayon sa UP, talaga namang salang-sala. Yung selectivity is very high. siguro baka yung technology din nakakatulong, ano? At saka baka yung system ngayon na nagdi-discourage na ng terrorism, nabawasan, hindi ba? Ngayon meron ng student evaluation. Kaya pati ako, ingat na ingat ako pati sa pagsusoli ng papel, kung kailan ko isosoli, kung ano, kasi ginigradean ka ng student, hindi ba? Yun. At ang ibig ko lang sabihin, nasa consciousness ng Pangulo, gusto ko sana isagot gusto mo kasing itulad ng sarili mo sa lahat na mahina sa math. Kasi siya na yung nagsasabi, okay daw sa kanya arithmetic. Pero pagka ni-replace mo na ng A and B at X and Y, wala na. Anyway, just adding some light touch to this. But really, there are many developments to be happy about. 2 taon na ngayong meron tayong 8 Filipino scientists na na-feature dun sa 100 Asian scientists, 2 years in a row. At yung balik scientist statistics has been according to our targets. In other words, kung pinakamataas na nating narating ay 40 in previous years, we targeted 67 this year. Ewan ko kung paano kinumpute ni Carol yung 67 na target for this year. And as of the end of June, we had 30. So sabi ko, I think we can meet the 67 target and increasing yung target every year. So again, banggit ko na kung ano yung mga gusto kong collaboration or expectation from the OYSI. Kasi alam ko, dapat yung tuwing magmi-meeting tayo taon-taon, meron tayong progress kung ano man yung ating inilatag na plano for so many years. So, thank you very much. And sabi ko nga kay Ningning, asan na ba si Ningning? Si Ningning, nakapula kangina, tuwan-tuwa ako. Sabi ko, I'm happy to see you in red in a sea of black. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary De La Peña. This is good. You gave us many good, a number of good news. So now I think it's good for the organization, for OIC, to welcome naman our new members. This is something that I'm sure Secretary Boy welcomes. Sino ba yung bagong Philippines Got Talents or sinong bagong OIC? So now we will have the induction of the new members to be led by Secretary De La Peña. May we call on Academician Ma'am Rodora Azanza, and then OIC President Merlin Minjoro for the induction. I will read the names. We have 12 OIC new members this year, and I will read briefly. Yung mga bagong dumating dito, just come one after the other on the stage, please. Dr. Rico Angcog, who is currently UP Scientist 3 and Associate Professor 5 at UP Los Baños. Dr. Maria Guadalupe Salonga, who is an Associate Professor and Vice Chairperson at the Psychology Department, DLSU. Dr. Raymond Francis Sarmiento, on stage lang din, mag-i-induction po. Sa NAS na kayo, bibigyan ng inyong Glamour Award. Okay? So induction lang kami kasi sisingilin namin kayo. Contribution to the organization. Dr. Raymond Francis Sarmiento, Director of the National Telehealth Center, NIH, UP Manila. Dr. Nathaniel Oreliaza, Associate Professor at the College of Medicine, UP Manila, and Medical Specialist at the Carino Memorial Medical Center. Dr. Marla Redilias, Associate Professor and Head of Hydraulics and Water Resources Division at the Civil Engineering Department, DLSU. Dr. Ryan Roy Visera, Associate Professor 5 at the Gokongwei College of Engineering, DLSU. Daming DLSU. Dr. Pia Bagamashad, did I pronounce it right? The Bagamasbad. current, sorry po, tao lang. She is Assistant Professor 1 at NIMBB, UP Diliman. Dr. Michael Velarde, Associate Professor and Deputy Director for Research and Extension at IB, UP Diliman. Dr. Frolan Aya, Rank of Scientist at the Southern Asian Fisheries Development Center. Dr. Patricia Ann Haranilia Sanchez, Associate Professor 4 at UP Los Baños. Dr. Lilibet A. Salvador Reyes, who is Assistant Professor 6 at MSI UP Diliman. And Dr. Michael Vega II, Associate Professor at NIP UP Diliman.
All 12 are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Merong hindi dumating? Ayan pa yata. Okay. 12. Ganda. So, yung mga blanco, sasabihin nyo yung pangalan at saka kung saan kayo affiliated. Pakitaas ang kanang kamay. Ako si na hinirang bilang miyembro ng Outstanding Young Scientist Incorporated ay taimtim na nanunumpa, natutuparin ang buong husay at katapatan sa abot ng aking kakayahan ang mga tungkulin bilang miyembro na aking itataguyod ang patakaran ng organisasyon na tunay na mananalig at tatalima ako rito. Nasusundin ko ang mga dekretong pinaiiral ng mga sadyang itinakda. At kusa akong babalikatin ang pananagutang ito nang walang anumang pasubali o hangaring umiwas. Kasi hanawa ako ng may kapal. Congratulations.
So once again, congratulations to the new members of the Outstanding Young Scientists Incorporated. Palakpakan po natin sila. May we request our secretary to remain on stage, Academician Rodora Asanza and President Mendioro to remain on stage po. Thank you very much sa ating mga... all right. Thank you very much. A round of applause. At this juncture, may we ask our secretary to please come up the stage again. And of course, Academician Rodora Azanza and President Merlin Mendioro, in order for us to recognize the members of the OYSI who have been elected to the membership of the DOST-Philippines. All right, so our first member to be recognized is Academician Cesar L. Villanoy of Physical Oceanography, OYS 1997. A round of applause. The citation reads, the Outstanding Young Scientists Incorporated presents this plaque of recognition to Academician Cesar L. Villanoy for being an exceptional scientific achiever, honoring the OIC by being elected as member of the DOST-Philippines, given this 9th day of July 2019 at the Sofitel Philippine Plaza Hotel, signed by our President Merlin Mendioro, PhD. Congratulations po. A round of applause for Academician Cesar L. Villanoy. Congratulations. Next po, may we call on Academician Raymond R. Tan, Mechanical Engineering OYS 2004. A round of applause for our Academician Raymond R. Tan. Congratulations. Third, we have OIC Board Member Academician Mujikiwis D. Santos for Applied Marine Biosciences, OYS 2001. 2011. Sorry. Sorry po. Again, a round of applause for Sir Muji. And last but not least, of course, our OIC immediate past president, Academician Glenn B. Gregorio for Genetics, OYS 2004. And the new CIARCA director, of course. Congratulations, sir. Idol. Again, a round of applause for Academician Glenn B. Gregorio. So, thank you very much and congratulations, po. Please stay, po, for the next.
All right, so we now proceed to the acknowledgement of past governing board members. I will read the certificate of appreciation from the National Academy of Science and Technology. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Dr. Merdeline T. Kaasilit for having served as board member of the OIC Governing Board, SIWA 2016 to 2018. given this 9th day of July 2019 at Sofitel, Philippine Plaza, Manila, during the 14th Annual Meeting and Scientific Convention. Dr. Lit? Our previous board member, Dr. Lit, is got her award in plant science and entomology, OIS 1999. Next, we call our previous board member, Dr. Leslie let's round of applause, please. Let's clap. Pinagsilbihan tayo ni Bing for a long time. Next, we ask our previous board member, Dr. Leslie Michelle M. Dalmasio, Molecular Biology and Biotechnology, OIS 2012. Okay, another round of applause for Dr. Leslie Dalmasio. We now ask Dr. Gabriel Romero, Genetics, OYS 2002. Gabby? Gabs? Nawawala si Dr. Gab. Okay. Dr. Antonio A. Alfonso, Plant Biology, OYS 2008. Dr. Tony. Congratulations po. Daming halaman. Alright, now we call the previous auditor, Dr. Teresita H. Borromeo, Plant Breeding, OIS 1994. Ma'am Tess? Round of applause for Ma'am Tess Borromeo. And then lastly, our immediate past president, academician Glenn B. Gregorio. Sir Glenn, President Glenn, nangahakot ka ng award. Maramdaman naman sana namin yan. Nararamdaman ba ninyo? Thank you very much, President Glenn. Now, may we ask Dr. Gabriel Romero, are you around? Wala talaga. Okay. So, thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, I guess, before we lose Secretary Boy, Mama Sansa, can we have a photo session for all the OIC here at the front? May we now... Ha? Kayo nasa taas. Ikaw na kaya, kuya, may mic. Hindi. Ang suggestion ni Sir, lahat daw tayo pumunta sa gitna, sila ang nasa taas para kuha tayo.
Kami nasa ibaba.
So paano nyo? Nakaupo ba? Nakatayo, Sir? Nakatayo lahat? Okay, sige.
So, nasa taas sila. Okay, tatayo na lang tayo. Tatayo na lang tayo. Sige, taba na tayo. Lahat ba? Lahat? Hindi ko alam paano ba ito panoramic. Paano ba ito? Yan, isa natin yung PSPMP yan na tayo. Hindi ko alam yun. Ang mabilang yan. Hindi ko hindi alam yan. Okay, please rise.
In
Meron pa daw po. Yan, thank you very much. All right, as we're settling down, before we proceed to the plenary session, let me just acknowledge our sponsors, the National Academy of Science and Technology Philippines, DOST-Philippines, thank you very much. The Philippine Council for Health, Research and Development, PCHRD, Department of Science and Technology, maraming salamat po. Bayer Philippines, Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, SIRCA, National Fisheries Research and Development Institute, NFRDI, the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources, Research and Development, and the Philippine Carabao Center. Thank you very much for making this event possible. Let's give a round of applause to our supporters and our sponsors. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. Ano to? Announcement daw. Don't forget to get your refund for your jackets. Okay, so yung may mga jackets, si Muji nga kanina hindi pa tinatanggal yung tag ng kanyang jacket from Uniqlo. So don't forget, and then also to do your registration, to register, para siguradin ninyong meron tayong attendance. All right. So now we will proceed with the plenary session. All right. Our first speaker is Dr. Settle down daw muna daw po. President Merlin, question. Tinutuloy pa ba yung contribution ng mga bagong OIC members? Magkano yung OIC contribution? 5,000. OIC, pagkatapos ninyong maawardan ng inyong maraming salapi sa Thursday, pakibawasan lang yun ng 5,000 o tayo na ba magbabawas? Magbabayad daw kayo, hindi daw namin pwedeng automatically ibawas sa envelope. Okay. Magbayad daw kayo ng 5,000 kay Ma'am Heidi. Heidi, all right. Okay, settle down na daw po. Okay, start na. All right. We will now proceed to the plenary sessions. Our first speaker, there are some food there, so feel free to take some food for your replenishment. Our first speaker is Dr. Maria Cristeta N. Quaresma, Program Head of Graduate Education and Institutional Development Department, Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture. Allow me to read her profile. Medyo mahaba. Dr. Maria Cristeta Quaresma is the Program Head for Graduate Education and Institutional Development at SHARCA. As GEID Head, Dr. Quaresma manages SHARCA's graduate scholar. How do you pronounce it, Glenn? SHARCA ba? SHARCA? How do you pronounce it? Sherka. Tama ba yun? Circa. As a GEID head, Dr. Quaresma manages Circa's graduate scholarship program, oversees the conduct of institutional development assistance to partner beneficiaries, and promotes internationalization of higher education through partnerships with international networks within and outside Southeast Asia. She also serves as coordinator of the Southeast Asian University Consortium for Graduate Education in Agriculture and Natural Resources. Dr. Quaresma joined CIRCA in 2014 while on seconded appointment from UP Los Baños, where she taught graduate and undergraduate courses in math, served as advisor to math and applied math students, and supervised actuarial science students in internship programs. She also served UPLB as a faculty administrator. In various positions from 2004 as faculty administrator. In 2018, last year in January, she filed an early retirement from UPLB to serve CIRCA on a full-time basis. Dr. Quaresma earned her BS, MS, and PhD in math from UP Diliman and completed her PhD dissertation at the University of Western Australia in 2004. Please welcome Dr. Maria Cristeta and Quaresma. Ma'am.
Maraming salamat po sa introduction. Dr. Merlin Mindoro, OIC President, I cannot see you now. Dr. Rodora Azanza, NAST President. Dr. Willie Padolina, if you're still here, Secretary de la Peña, and he may not forgive me if I don't acknowledge him, my boss, Dr. Glenn Gregorio. And I have my PhD advisor, Dr. Joey Balmaceda. I saw you around earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. First, allow me to thank OIC for inviting CIRCA to share what we do in building talents and capabilities towards agricultural and rural development in the region. Can we have the slides, please, on the screen? Thank you. All right, so for those not yet in the know, CIRCA is an acronym that stands for the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture. It was established in 1966 and is one of the earliest centers under the treaty organization called SIMU, or the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization. CIRCA's mandate is to build capacities of individuals and institutions in its 11 member countries, that's all of the 10 ASEAN member states plus Timor-Leste, for agricultural and rural development. And we do this through the center's 3 core programs on graduate education and institutional development, research and development, and knowledge management. But in the interest of time, I will focus only on the activities under graduate education and institutional development. In the past, this program is actually known as the Graduate Scholarship Program. It started in 1968 and was meant to address the increasing demand for high-level manpower resources needed to service national development programs in the SIMU member countries. And so regular CIRCA scholars are selected in collaboration with officials from member countries, especially that from the Ministry of Higher Education or Education that conducts the initial screening and endorses their country's candidates for CIRCA scholarships. Scholarship applicants are also interviewed in their home countries with the ministry designating a local representative in the interview panel, and CIRCA submits an annual report to the ministries on the final selection results as well as on the status of scholars from their respective countries. As of the end of June 2019, nowhere near the numbers of the OST. CIRCA has awarded 1,789 scholarship grants to Southeast Asian nationals, obviously with the highest number from the Philippines, 472, followed by Thailand with 370, and Indonesia with 357. There are 29 nationals of Bangladesh, Fiji, Ghana, and Nepal who also received CIRCA scholarships through a special project managed by CIRCA. And so aside from CIRCA funding, we partner with institutions having similar interest of building a cadre of professionals working for ARD in the region to fund our scholarship program. In fact, 30% of the 1,789 grants, or 544 to be exact, were funded by partner institutions that include the German Academic Exchange Service, DAAD, the International Development Research Center, or IDRC of Canada, and the Philippine Department of Agriculture, to name a few. We also partner with universities to provide joint scholarships for students that are enrolled in their universities. And we have current arrangements with University Putra Malaysia, Nagoya University, and Tokyo Nodai of Japan, and the Acropolis Foundation of France. We have actually a page in our website where all our scholarship co-funding institutions are listed. Aside from providing funds for round-trip travel, tuition, book allowance, life and health insurance, living allowance, thesis budget, and so on, our scholars also get supported when they present papers in scientific conferences or publishes in journals. And for those enrolled in UP Los Baños, CIRCA has a dormitory inside the campus where most of our scholars reside and where they get discounted rates. Aside from this support, we also provide other services for foreign scholars enrolled in the Philippines. They enjoy the privilege of being issued 9E2 visas intended for officers of foreign governments, an agreement that CIRCA inked with the Department of Foreign Affairs. CIRCA arranges for the issuance of the scholar's visa and its extension, and scholars do not have to pay any fees. This privilege is even extended to their immediate families. We also conduct annual team-building activities with the scholars, fellowship dinners, and involve them in other activities of the center, such as in Sports Fest. And to further build the scholars' capacities and assist them in completing their studies on time, we provide customized trainings and fly in scholars enrolled in study posts overseas so they could avail of these services. Every year, we offer trainings on English enhancement for new scholars, on writing thesis proposals, thanks to Ma'am May Mendoza, on experimental designs and data analysis, and from time to time, we also offer leadership or other relevant trainings according to the needs of our scholars. So at CIRCA, building talents and capabilities through the graduate scholarship program does not only involve providing funds for studies, it also involves supplementary trainings, spending time with the scholars, and sometimes serving as their guidance counselors. And the support does not stop there. After graduation, CIRCA continued to support them as scholarship alumni. They become priority in CIRCA's other grants, such as in our travel grants, the Seed Fund for Research and Training. Both of these are actually being administered by our Research and Development Department. We also support alumni to participate in CIRCA learning events. They always get priority. The alumni are organized into a regional CIRCA Alumni Association with country chapters across the region, and we get to meet them every time that we go to their countries. They conduct biennial conferences and collaborate in other activities. Recently, they finished a book writing project, and now they're embarking on a collaborative research as an alumni group. Many of these alumni have went on to occupy positions of influence in their respective workplaces in their countries, such as university presidents, directors general, deputy ministers, or even ministers. And in the country, we have the likes of the Philippine Competition Commission Chair, Dr. R.C. Balisacan, and the former DA Undersecretary, Dr. Fred Serrano. Now, another factor that makes our graduate scholarship program work is our relationship with the scholars' study posts. It used to be that back when the program was still starting, all scholars were enrolled at UPLB. But in the early 80s, CIRCA launched Operation Spread to regionalize the program by including other universities in the region as study posts. Then in 1989, CIRCA initiated the establishment of a university consortium with 5 leading agricultural universities in the region as members. This is known as the Southeast Asian University Consortium for Graduate Education in Agriculture and Natural Resources, or simply the UC. From then on, these 5 founding members have become the regular study posts of CIRCA scholars. I say regular because for our project scholars, the donors or the partners can always negotiate where to send the scholars. The consortium has 3-fold objectives. They provide highly trained personnel for the region's development, promote cooperation by optimizing utilization of resources and expertise, and develop linkages through collaborative researches and exchange programs. The consortium has members in Indonesia, that's Institute Pertanian Bogor and Universitas Gadjah Mada, University of Putra Malaysia, of course UPLB, and Kasetsart University in Thailand. And we have associate and affiliate members in Japan, Taiwan, Canada, and Germany. CIRCA remains the secretariat of the consortium and coordinates all activities and grants. All 5 regular members of the consortium are in the QS Top 200 World University Rankings in Agriculture and Forestry. Actually, KU, UPM, and IPB belong to the top 100. The consortium also offers grants on top of the CIRCA grants. They provide funds for consortium students and staff to travel to other consortium member universities to do research, present in conferences, attend courses or trainings for students, or serve as visiting lecturer for a limited period in terms of staff. Since 2015, the consortium has also conducted annual activities to further enhance students' capacities and strengthen partnerships within the consortium. This include the annual UC Summer School, which has now evolved into a 2-unit credit earning course that uses transdisciplinary approach to assess sustainability transitions in agriculture production and food processing systems at the grassroots level. Next week, UPLB and CIRCA are co-hosting the 2019 Summer School. Then there is also the UC Graduate Forum, where students come to present their research results and establish linkages with students from other UC member universities. These activities are being hosted by the consortium members on rotation basis. In 2013, the consortium also agreed to collaborate in undertaking joint graduate degree courses and dual degree programs. KU and UPM were the first to respond to this, and from academic year 2015-2016, dual research degree programs in both master's and PhD levels in areas related to agriculture were offered. Then, motivated by the partnership with the European University Consortium Agri-Natura, the consortium submitted a proposal to Erasmus Plus under its capacity building for higher education component and got funded to establish a joint Master of Science degree in food security and climate change at the consortium level. This has brought the capacity building activities of the consortium to a higher level, from merely awarding grants to developing and conducting joint courses, forums, and degree programs. The consortium members have been CIRCA's longtime partners, not just into our scholarship program, but also into other activities, including the Institutional Development Assistance, or IDA program. Under IDA, CIRCA assists strategically located universities to empower and equip them with necessary resources to meet the demands required to boost economic development in the region. Right now, CIRCA has 5 IDA partner universities in Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. But since different institutions have different structures, systems, and resources, the assistance to these universities vary according to their needs, from the conduct of an institutional review to fielding of experts to develop curricula or training modules, or incapacitating staff through educational support interventions, such as in-house trainings or scholarships. Since there are a lot to do and yet to be done for these universities, and with CIRCA's limited resources, we bring in partners to help in this institutional assistance program. And much of the help comes from the Food Security Center of the University of Hohenheim, which has provided funds to bring in experts to conduct in-house trainings and short courses in these universities. And examples are in the slides. Now, there are other capacity building activities that CIRCA implements in collaboration with other partners outside of the graduate education and institutional development. As an example, CIRCA, through the Research and Development Program, partnered with the International Foundation for Science, or IFS, a nonprofit organization based in Sweden, to award collaborative research grants to early career scientists to work on projects under our umbrella program on climate change adaptation and mitigation. An online platform was used for interested applicants across the region to interact with each other, form research teams of 3 to 5 members coming from at least 2 CMU member countries, decide on their research topics, and develop proposals. 18 collaborative research teams passed the initial review process and gathered at CIRCA for a capacity building workshop, after which they submitted improved research proposals. And out of 18 teams, 12 were finally awarded 3-year research grants and are now on their last year of their research projects. The grantees gathered at CIRCA again last year to present progress reports with mentors providing feedbacks and further inputs for their research projects. So, I beat the time. To summarize, CIRCA's mandate is to build capacities for agricultural and rural development in Southeast Asia. And at the graduate education and institutional development, we do this through our graduate scholarship program that are aligned to national development goals. By our work with the University Consortium, through our institutional development assistance, and by tapping networks and linkages, including CIRCA alumni, in all of this work. The work of building talents and capabilities is never easy. It is a continuing effort that is never done. But seeing the fruits of the hard work, the impact that it has made in the lives of the individuals or of the institutions being assisted makes all the effort worth it. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quaresma. Now, aside from these opportunities you mentioned, meron rin po tayong regional professorial chair, right? That they give announcements. So all of us can avail of these professorial chairs po. Thank you very much. Please reserve your questions for Dr. Quaresma during the open forum. Let us proceed with the second speaker, Dr. Conrado H. Balatero, OYS 2001. From the East-West Seed Group Breeding Manager and Outstanding Young Scientists Incorporated member. Let me read his profile. Dr. Conrado Balatero is currently the Group Breeding Manager of East-West Seed, the pioneering vegetable seed company in the Philippines with the mission to provide innovative products and services that will help increase the income of vegetable smallholder farmers and promote the growth and quality of the tropical vegetable industry. As Group Breeding Manager, he is responsible for the overall strategic development and alignment of various crop breeding programs in 14 R&D stations in 6 countries that include the Philippines, Thailand, India, Guatemala, and the United States and Africa. Dr. Balatero obtained his PhD in genetics, minors in plant breeding and plant pathology at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, and was awarded the OYS for plant breeding in 2001. Prior to his engagement in the private seed sector, Dr. Balatero served as Deputy Director of the Institute of Plant Breeding, College of Agriculture, UPLB, and has been an active researcher and plant breeder for potato, tomato, and other vegetable crop commodities. Let us all welcome Dr. Conrado Balatero.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. So magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. So first of all, I would like to thank the National Academy of Science and Technology and the OYS Incorporated for the kind invitation to talk about this special topic on talents entitled Employing, Developing, Training, and Retaining Talents from a Seed Industry Perspective. So actually, this is my first time to attend OIS, so I hope to be coming here every year. So hindi ko lang matatanggihan po si Ma'am Merlin, my mentor in genetics. So I'm very happy to see a lot of familiar faces. So my presentation can be summed up in 2 words: talent management. Okay, our fundamental belief is that talent management should be at the core of what we do in business. So we believe that it is through talents, best talents, that business wins, not strategies. But allow me first to share a few words about the company that I have worked for in the last 17 years. 17 years na po akong umalis from UPLB. So our company was founded in 1982 here in the Philippines by a Dutch seedman, Mr. Simon Groot, who partnered with a local farmer businessman in the person of Mr. Benito Domingo, whom probably some of you know. He passed away about 2 years ago. It started with only 2 employees and 1 part-time research breeding consultant, who is with us here, Dr. Eufemio Rasco Jr., who is my ninong also. So the mission of our company is to provide innovative products and services that will help improve the livelihood and income of the smallholder farmers in the tropics. So just very recently, I am very happy to share that the World Food Prize was given to our founding chairman, Mr. Simon Groot. Okay, and actually recently, about 2 weeks ago, he was also awarded an honoris causa by UPLB, Doctor of Laws, who also served as the commencement speaker in this year's commencement exercises. Early this year also, the Access to Seed Index announced that for the second time, our company was ranked #1 in terms of global access to seeds among global companies. And it was also ranked #1 in the regional index for South and Southeast Asia. So Seed Access Index compares the performance of world-leading companies in terms of providing innovations to smallholder farmers. So why smallholder farmers? I think you all agree that smallholder farmers are vital to food security and nutrition. So by 2050, the world population is expected to reach 9 billion, and this would require 70% increase in agricultural productivity. Now, this 70% increase in agricultural productivity has to come from the smallholder farmers because they represent 85% of the world's farm structure. These smallholder farmers actually only cultivate around 1.1 hectares of land, which is typical for Asia, and it's probably a little bit higher in Africa at around 2 hectares. Now, from the humble beginning of East West in 1982, we have become now the market leader for vegetable crops in the rest of Southeast Asia. That includes Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Cambodia, and Myanmar. And we have expanded our activities in India and recently in Latin and South America and Africa. So we now have 14 R&D stations spread over in 6 countries. That includes the Philippines, where I am based right now, Thailand, India. We have one in Guatemala. We have one in the US, in Yuma, for our onion breeding program, in Indonesia and Africa. So we spend or allocate around 11% of our sales or turnover for research and development. And we partner with almost 10,000 smallholder farmers also to produce our seeds, high-quality seeds. And this also gave opportunity for them to earn more income compared to growing other alternative crops. 41% or more than 1/3 of our employees are millennials. The average age is 36 years old, and then 1 in 3 employees is a female. We have served millions of farmers by introducing almost 1,000 improved varieties representing 60 crops. In order to ensure that our technologies are accessible to the smallholder farmers, we sell what we call value packs and grow packs. These actually are small sachet of vegetable seeds that cost only around $1 per pouch. For the grow packs, we actually include information on how to grow vegetable crops, which is very much suitable for first-time growers. Now back to the talent. So how do we define talent in East West Seeds? We define talent based on performance and potential. So performance means consistent delivery of output for a certain number of years. Potential is measured by 3 parameters: ability, engagement, and aspiration. Ability means not just intelligence quotient, but also includes emotional quotients and agility quotients. We ask, does the talent have the skill set and the knowledge necessary to solve complex problems? Does the talent have the maturity to deal with complex situations during turbulent times? Does the talent has the ability to learn from mistakes and reinvent himself, especially in times of crisis? Is the talent engaged with the company, its people, and the mission? Is the talent can express to take higher and complex roles and responsibilities? This diagram summarizes the talent management in East West Seeds. So it is important to consider to align with the business strategies. What is really required by the business? There are several components here, but let me just focus on employing, developing, and engaging talents. Employing talents, we not just hire for the open positions or vacant positions for today, but of course we look at the future requirements. We use business strategy as the lens for finding the best talents. In order to ensure that we get or hire the best talents, we have to be very clear with the success profiles of that particular position. This means coming up with a clear job description, competencies, and the traits required, especially the ones that fit in our own company culture. We also work with a lot of professional networks, works also with recruitment vendors to be able to source out our talents. We encourage our employees for employee referrals for some of the best talents that we can source. And we do a lot, actually sponsor a lot of local internship and foreign internship. In fact, at the moment, we have one Dutch from Wageningen University who is doing an internship with us here in Hortanova, one Indonesian working in Thailand, and another one coming from UC Davis to start in October this year. In terms of developing talents, we follow the 70-20-10 rule, which is a mix of learning methodologies. This is based on work experiences, feedback and relationships, and formal training. So in addition to learning on the job, we do a lot of what we call stretch or developmental assignments, where one employee can be assigned to another department on a cross or a special project arrangement. In addition to the regular coaching and mentoring, we do a lot of, we do regular con-con. We call this actually con-con. This means contribution, conversation. We also hold regular performance and career discussions. For the remaining 10%, we invest in training. This includes both internal and external trainings, participation in e-learning courses, and attendance in conferences. All of these are based on coming up with an individual development plan. In terms of training, we see learning as a business strategy and a core values. The learning journey in East West does not end. It's a continuous journey that starts with the onboarding of the newly hired person at day one. Then we provide him or her with the necessary training in terms of business essentials, technical trainings, and more importantly, leadership training, because leadership to us is very important, even much more important than technical proficiency. One good example of such a training investment in our company is the advanced plant breeding course. Okay? This course is offered to plant breeders and researchers in various research countries. That includes Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, Guatemala, and the rest of those countries where we have R&D. This is a 2-year course divided into 6 sessions. One session is about a week of intensive learning. So we have completed the first batch in 2016, and the second batch is now about to finish in October this year. In order to ensure that our talents are trained by the best talents, so we employ or contracted the services of good mentors. I think you know, many of you know Dr. Edwin Javier, who has worked with us for the last 6 years. He is a member of our East-West Seed Academy. He's a graduate from North Carolina University, have worked for UPLB Erie for several years. He is our main lecturer for breeding and selection methods, applied quantitative genetics, genotype by environment interaction, and related topics. We also work with Breedwise BV from Holland, Wageningen University, in the person of Edie van Leeuwen. Actually, Edie van Leeuwen is also one of the lecturers in the UC Plant Breeding Academy, which is very much ongoing at the moment. She is the one who handles the training on reproductive biology, classical genetics, genetics resources, pre-breeding, and breeding for resistance. Now, for the batch 2, they were very fortunate because we have expanded our set of lecturers by contracting the services of Dr. Rex Bernardo, who is professor and endowed chair for genetics and plant breeding in corn from the University of Minnesota. So he is actually the one who is doing this session on the application of genomic tools that includes QTL analysis, genomic analysis, molecular breeding, and the applications of GWAS, genome-wide association studies. Now, this advanced plant breeding course is really a mix of classroom lectures, visits to laboratories, fields, greenhouses. We also invite guest lecturers, professors from different universities. And at the end of the last session, which is the 6th session, each delegate or participant has to prepare and defend a breeding proposal related to his or her work. So he has to pass, he or she has to pass. On retaining talents, talent engagement is really key to retention. I think everybody agrees. So if your talent is engaged, they are happy to serve you or work continuously. Now, these are just various components of how, or best practice on how we retain talents in East-West. Of course, we have to come up with a very competitive pay and benefits structure, which is benchmark in the industry. We also try to reward our employees. We have this, what we call the GROW Hero Awards. GROW means granular, robust, granular, robust, one team, and win. So this is our strategy. We also do a lot of performance management. So we do regular key performance indicators reviews, mid-year and annual reviews. And we do a lot of talent development. So this includes learning and development investments on individual basis. Recently, we rolled out the succession planning and talent reviews. To have a good working environment, our top management actually, which we call the Board of Management, every year organizes what we call a town hall. So the top management, the Board of Management, three of them, will have to face all employees in a town hall. They present the vision, progress and updates, and the challenges. Okay? That is done every year. We do a lot of training in terms of improving the growth mindset of our employees. And we try to inculcate that every employee has imbibed the East-West seed philosophy and values. So these are just some of the parameters or activities that we do to engage our talents. To sum it up, it is best talents that business wins. They are very important. They are much more important sometimes than strategies. So that's all, and thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Palatero, for giving us insights on how a seed industry employ, develop, train, and retain talents. Parang analogy yung OIC, nagtatanim din tayo kailan bubunga. Anyway, moving on to our next speaker, we have Dr. Carla B. De Malanta, OIS 2003, currently Assistant Vice President for Academic Affairs for Research at the UP System, and member of OIS, of course. Let me read her profile. Dr. Carla was appointed AVP for Research in June 2014. She's in, baka mabulunan ako ma'am dito May utang ako She's in charge of monitoring and overseeing the implementation of the research programs and projects funded by UP as a system. This include the Balik PhD, Emerging Interdisciplinary Research, and the Enhanced Creative Work and Research Grant Programs. Dr. De Malanta has more than 15 years of experience in implementing externally funded research projects as a program and/or project leader. She has authored and co-authored 80 publications in the Web of Science, formerly ISI Index Journal since 1996. Last year, Dr. De Malanta was one of the 10 outstanding Filipinos of Metrobank Foundation. She also received the NAS Kisumbing Medal for Outstanding Research and Development for Basic Research, as well as one of the NAS Outstanding Scientific Paper. Let us welcome Dr. Carla De Malanta.
Thank you very much, Cora. Tsaka na kita sisingilin. Okay, so I would like to thank OIC for giving UP an opportunity to share with you our program, particularly for PhD recruitment. So this is the University of the Philippines Balik PhD program. The tagline is "Come home to UP and come home for good." Of course, most of you know that the University of the Philippines started with the campus in UP Manila. So from one campus in 1908, we have now grown into 8 constituent universities, the last of which to be declared a constituent university is UP Cebu. And each constituent university, of course, has these niche specializations and programs. So the University of the Philippines system, with its 8 CUs, is located in 20 campus locations. This includes 3 professional schools located at the Bonifacio Global City, Cebu, and Panabo in Mindanao. The professional schools host programs on law, business administration, statistics, computer science, environmental studies, and agriculture. You can see here that the University of the Philippines system offers 258 undergraduate programs, more than 400 postgraduate programs, and we're very actively soliciting international linkages at this point with more than 300 linkages established already, including the regional networks. We're servicing more than 60,000 students all across the UP system. In 2018, we had 100,000 applicants for UPCAT. This was because of the aggressive campaign to increase the application centers as well as the testing centers. And this year, we had, I think, more than 160,000 UPCAT applicants because we even had testing centers all the way in Tawi-Tawi. I do not know who volunteered to be an examiner in Tawi-Tawi. But unfortunately, the UP system's current facilities and resources can only accommodate up to 15,000 students. So this goes to show yung kung bakit salang-sala na yung natatanggap natin. Of course, the majority of the successful applicants will be from the Philippine Science High Schools campuses. So our 2018 data, the UP system is composed of around 4,700 faculty members. 28% of them have doctoral degrees, 38% with master's degrees, 20% with bachelor's degrees. And then, of course, the remaining 14% are those with degrees in medicine or law. But in order to lead the country in knowledge-based development and in our bid to become a research-intensive regional and global university, the University of the Philippines embarked on several programs to increase its PhD faculty complement. And of course, our flagship program for this is the Balik PhD program. And alongside that, we have encouraged more than 300 of our faculty to go on their PhD studies abroad with scholarships from DOST, from CHED, and from the University of the Philippines system. UP aims to increase its PhD faculty from the current level of approximately 30% to 50% PhD faculty. And our very ambitious objective is to do this in the next 3 years. Of course, this is a very daunting task. So the UP Balik PhD recruitment program was launched in 2012 to invite foreign-trained Filipinos with PhDs and postdoctoral fellows to come home to UP and serve the country. They are expected to pursue research and mentor the most creative and innovative undergraduate and graduate students. Since 2013, UP has already recruited 45 Balik PhDs and postdoctoral fellows. Of course, you might think that this is a relatively small number, but we're still trying to encourage more applications to the program. 93% of our recruits are the new PhD graduates, so they still have several long years of service that they can render to the university. 7% of those are recruits who have completed their postdoctoral fellowships. And the recruits are graduates of universities from the US, Japan, Canada, Australia, Sweden, United Kingdom, Germany, and Taiwan. So you can see here the distribution of our recruits for the Balik PhD program. Of course, a big chunk are now appointed faculty and researchers at UP Diliman. Some of them are in UPLB, UP Visayas, UP Mindanao, and UP Manila. And from the 64% that are appointed faculty of UP Diliman, there are now appointed faculty members of the College of Science mostly. We have some Balik PhD recruits who are with the Archaeological Studies program, the College of Engineering, School of Economics, and the College of Social Sciences and Philosophy. So the funding support provided by the Balik PhD program are just seed funds to allow the grantees to set up their laboratories, to establish their research groups, and to get them started in their research career. After completing their Balik PhD grants, sometimes some of them do it alongside their Balik PhD grants. Some of them were able to secure new research grants from other funding agencies such as the OST, the USAID, Newton Fund, and several of our Balik PhDs have also become proponents of several CHED Picari projects. Aside from contributing to the university's scientific productivity, our recruits, as I said, have been able to set up their research laboratories with support from the Balik PhD program. And you can see here just some examples of these new labs which have been established. So this include the Plasma Material Interactions Laboratory of Dr. Magdaleno Vasquez Jr. of the College of Engineering, the Structured Light Laboratory of Dr. Nathaniel Hermosa II at the National Institute of Physics, and the Nanoceramics Laboratory of Dr. Rinley Cervera of the College of Engineering. Among our first recruits, Dr. Elmer Eustacio has been doing pioneering work on terahertz photonics in the Condensed Matter Physics Laboratory, which he set up through his Balik PhD grant. His team and students have been working on the development of terahertz time domain spectroscopy to evaluate new terahertz emitters and detectors such as gallium arsenide. This technique has applications in the fields of fingerprinting spectroscopy of biomolecules, environment monitoring, semiconductor and medical imaging, and materials testing. Terahertz photonics is also used in law enforcement to carry out non-destructive inspections, such as for illicit drugs, when you're trying to smuggle in these illicit drugs through mail envelopes. And as one of our productive faculty, Dr. Eustacio has already published more than 50 research articles since joining UP in 2013. Some of our Balik PhDs have also been recognized as outstanding young scientists by the National Academy of Science and Technology. One of them is Dr. Nathaniel Hermosa, who set up this structured light laboratory within the Photonics Research Laboratory to study how different beams affect the speed of light. Their publication is one of the more highly read and more highly cited journal in these popular scientific reports or high impact factor journal scientific reports. They named this paper from the UP Diliman scientists as one of the most highly cited. This particular publication showed that light could be slowed down. So it has more than 100 reads in 2016 and 41,483 views. Now, why is this particular concept, or why is this particular work being highly cited? Modern physics tells us that the speed of light remains the same in a vacuum. Physicists around the world have been exploring the possibility that this is not so. Dr. Nathaniel Hermosa and his team theoretically proved that the speed of light could be changed by letting light twist as it travels through space. And by doing so, they were able to make light move more slowly without touching it. Now, this particular technique will help improve data transmission in computing technologies and telecommunications. Now, the same researcher group, Dr. Nathaniel Hermosa, has also led his team in developing this invisibility cloak. We've heard of the invisibility cloak through the Harry Potter series, and scientists have been intrigued by the concept of invisibility. For many years, they have proposed, developed, and mounted different optical systems to achieve the effect of invisibility cloaks. And the simplest of these designs really relies on geometric optics, which regards light as rays when it travels. So Dr. Hermosa's team created a Rochester cloak that does not impose conditions on the focal lengths. And their experiments have been able to produce these cloaking regions even when the lenses have varied focal lengths, because they can freely change the focal lengths. So this particular technique will improve the teaching of optics in schools. So students can learn analytical ray tracing in the way that's more exciting than the usual image formation calculations. Exhibits and in-class demonstration of optics phenomena can be made more stimulating using these accessible materials. I'm sure when we were learning physics way back when, we needed better stimulus and stimulation to encourage us to be interested in the concepts in physics. So the benefits of this technique is not limited to optics education. It has applications in many areas of optical science and engineering. And it can also help improve telecommunication technology, medical imaging, or even machine vision. Another of our Balik PhD recruits, one of our recent awardees is Dr. Pia Bagamasbad, who established the Molecular Endocrinology Laboratory in 2015. This laboratory is devoted to studying the role of hormones in the development of the nervous system and hormone-dependent cancers. So some of their ongoing research initiatives include identification and validation of non-coding RNAs induced by thyroid hormone and glucocorticoids in hippocampal neurons. Their laboratory is also doing drug screening for selective androgen receptor modular for prostate cancer therapy. So if you have any interest in the work being done by Dr. Bagamasbad, of course, you may approach her after this talk. Again, another of the recent awardees, Dr. Lilibet Salvador Reyes, is from the Marine Science Institute, who has been doing work on medicinal and natural products chemistry, biochemistry, and pharmacology. She investigates new lead compounds for drug discovery. For her balik PhD project, she tested 28 cyanobacterial samples for anti-proliferative activity against colorectal adenocarcinoma cells and anti-malarial activity against Plasmodium falciparum. She's also part of the team that is now investigating the shipworms, which we call the tamilok, and they said that despite the worm-like bodies, these shipworms are in fact marine bivalves. So these bivalves harbor bacteria in their gills, and they use this to break down cellulose from wood. Again, another of the Balik PhD awardees. So we have a very timely project in light of the recent water problems that we have been facing here in Metro Manila in the nearby areas. We have Dr. Patricia Jaranilla Sanchez, who is with the School of Environmental Science and Management of UPLB, who is doing reach-to-reef disaster risk assessment and climate change impact assessment of floods and droughts in the agricultural sector of the Angat watershed. And as mentioned, because of the pressing problems in Metro Manila, Dr. Sanchez has also been providing inputs to the relevant agencies on how we can address our water needs and the water demands. So our Balik PhD recruits have contributed to UP's scientific productivity, not only in terms of their publications, but also in terms of the number of students that they have mentored and are continuing to mentor. They have set up their laboratories and are continuing to grow their research groups, which facilitates and enhances the transfer of new knowledge to our undergraduate and graduate students. We are very pleased to see that of the 8 UP researchers who received the 2019 Outstanding Young Scientist Awards, 5 of them are recipients of UP's Balik PhD grants. Other Balik PhDs have also received prestigious awards, including the National Research Council of the Philippines Achievement Award, the Outstanding Research and Development Award for Basic Research from the Department of Science and Technology, National Academy of Science and Technology, and the NAST, the World Academy of Sciences Prize for Young Scientists in the Philippines. They have also appeared in Asian Scientist 100, as mentioned by Secretary De La Peña, a hand-picked selection of Asian researchers in the Asia-Pacific region because of their significant scientific contributions. So from this vision that was put forth by former Vice President for Academic Affairs, Gisela Concepcion, and former President Alfredo Pascual, the University of the Philippines is now reaping the benefits of the PhD recruitment program, which they have shepherded. And this is quite evident from our current crop of recruits, although there's rather a small number now, but they are now fulfilling their obligations not only as faculty, as researchers, as mentors, and in some cases, they have already started accepting administrative positions. So I hope that this does not take away from your tasks of furthering your research and teaching and mentoring responsibilities. If you happen to know of anybody interested in coming back and joining UP as a faculty, we can help facilitate, link them up with units where they may be a good fit to become faculty of that unit. So you can coordinate with the Office of the Vice President for Academic Affairs for any of our programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our boss, Dr. Dimalanta. Magkakautang rin po ako. Magpapa-extend po ako sa inyo sa isang linggo. Thank you very much, Dr. Dimalanta, for sharing with us UP's Balik PhD program. Our last but not least speaker is another OYS awardee. We have Academician Jose Maria P. Balmaceda, OIS 1995, member of the National Academy of Science and Technology. Allow me to read his profile. Dr. Jose Maria Balmaceda is a professor of mathematics at UP Diliman. He received the OIS award in 1995 and was elected to the NAST in 2008. He obtained his PhD mathematics degree from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in 1991 and BS and MS degrees in math from UP Diliman. His research interests are in group theory, representation theory, and algebraic combinations. He is currently chair of the CHED Technical Committee for Maths and president of the Southeast Asian Mathematical Society. Last year, he was elected to the 2019-2022 Commission for Developing Countries of the International Mathematical Union. A former assistant vice president for academic affairs of the UP System, Institute of Mathematics Director, and College of Science Dean. He has held teaching and research position in Tokyo, Fukuoka, Busan, and Innsbruck. Let us give a round of applause to Dr. Jose Maria Balmaceda.
Thank you very much, Al. Thank you to OIC for the invitation, especially from the present, my OIS batchmate, Dr. Merlin Mendioro. I also see some batchmates, Maribel Dionisio Sese and Tony Laurena. Gusto ko lang sabihin, hindi kami yung pinakamatanda dito. I'm very happy that Dr. Luli Cruz, National Scientist Luli Cruz, and Dr. Paciente Cordero and some other people are always here. I was asked to talk about sustainable education and talent development. Sabi ni Dr. Padulina, we have world-class academics. Meron rin tayong world-class entertainers. No? Like Dr. Padulina is a very good violinist. But he said that he already gave a comprehensive picture of what challenges we face in education and in talent development. And we really need more, he said, sophisticated and astute ideas and insights on how to approach this problem. You all know this slide. It's old, but this is from the 2015 UNESCO Science Report. It even reflects old Philippine data, 2007, which I understand has now been updated. But you can see why we lag so far behind. We can't even supply the correct. So the number of researchers now is certainly more than 78 per million. It's at least double, but that's still below the minimum. Okay. So we have been always playing this catch-up game, and part of the big reason of that is because we don't have too many people going to science and mathematics. You can see this slide, a lot of business school graduates. We have a lot of engineering students, but then we worry about the type of engineering education that we give. Okay? I want to step back a bit and talk about something more fundamental, not necessarily about talent development, but I want to connect what I will talk about with our theme of talent development and retention at the end. Okay? Really, if you look forward, all that we're doing is anchored on, say, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And one of the big goals is SDG 4, which is quality education. Talent development eventually rests on good education. Let's try to read what SDG 4 says. It says, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. The for all is the operative word, okay? If we don't really try to make our education inclusive, then we will have a very small pool of people to eventually develop. Okay? So I think that, of course, the long-term strategic plan is really to improve our education, starting from the very basic level, even from pre-kindergarten, and by developing as a whole the educational system and the educational institutions of our country, then maybe we'll have a better chance to find this critical mass of talent. Many of you work in programs that worry about sustainability, and this is very important. But what does sustainable development mean? Really, it means, what I want to say is that as any other development program, we can also evaluate our educational institutions and our educational system from a sustainability perspective. Okay? So, are our educational systems sustainable? I think if the objective of sustainable development is to ensure that the aspirations and needs of everyone are satisfied, then of course we are far from having a good, sustainable system of education. Sabi ng mga ibang experts, it is a paradox because schools are expected to teach students about how to value the earth, to live sustainable lives, but schools themselves as institutions are not sustainable. What do I mean by this? We all know that the defining criterion or criteria of sustainability is to meet really the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future to meet their own needs. We can recast these things. This was the original framework of the first Brundtland Commission who worked on the concept of sustainable development. We can translate these ideas to questions about education. For instance, do educational institutions and the systems they are embedded in satisfy the needs of all students? Well, we can ask many questions, and we can see that many of these, our answers will not be satisfactory. Are we providing access? Are we aiming for equity, at least in access for everyone? Are our schools safe? Are they green? Are they healthy environments? Are we providing the quality instructional materials? Do we have that in our schools? At the end, our question about schools is, are students learning? Are our students learning? Because if they're not learning, then what's the whole use of reform? Are we meeting current needs while not compromising the needs of the future? And then we can look at things like curriculum. Is our curriculum really preparing students for lifelong learning? Are we giving them, is there a good fit between the type of education and training that we are giving and the jobs and occupations or professions that they can enter when they graduate? For our teachers, are they developing? Do we give them the correct kind of training while studying to become teachers or during in-service? Are our resources being wasted or depleted? And what do I mean by resources when we talk about education? Well, certainly we talk about people, students and teachers. We know many of our teachers leave, a lot of our students, a lot of our youths and school children are not even in school. But resources are not just limited to human beings. They also include things like the talents, local knowledge, indigenous cultures, prior experience. All of these things are sometimes being wasted, okay, because of the circumstances students and teachers face in the current situation. Let's look at the dropout rate. We have a continuing high dropout rate or out of classroom youths and children rate. According to the 2017 study, this was about 3.6 million. These are the youths aged from 6 to 24, those of school age. That's a lot, 3.6 million. If you think about the 380 million researchers per million, that would translate to 38,000 in a population of, say, 100 million. That number, 3.6 million, just 1/10 of that would give you the 38,000. So a lot of resources are being wasted. Resources really meaning people's talents, children who are not able to enter into school. You can see that 2/3 of these out-of-school children and those who drop out are women. Women are often there are more women in this group than males. And also importantly, most of these people who are not inside the school come from the poor. Okay, so we can look at basic education, we can look at higher education, and in higher education, we also face the same problems of sustainability. We have so many higher education institutes, so many academic programs, poor student loans, meaning they can enroll in the first year, drop out in the second year, or get kicked out. Quality of our faculty really need to be improved. And also, of course, the continuing problem of access. Even if we have free tuition for some SUCs, in the long run, this is not sustainable, and this is really not benefiting majority of students. So how do we move forward? Of course, the answer is obvious. We have to invest more in education. And we have been doing that. You have seen the talks, listened to the talks of the previous speakers. We have been pouring in a lot of money for scholarships, being high-tech, building labs, getting the best faculty, even our graduates from abroad to come back. And this is all very good, and we have seen the positive results of all these interventions. But I want to come to the point of this talk. These are all very good, but then here is a criticism, for instance, that I share, espoused, for instance, by academician Alan Bernardo, also batchmate, OYS 1995. He said that our educational system really revolves around a very selective elitist system, where success in education will mean satisfying increasingly higher and higher levels of requirements or standards. Think about how you got here. You got here maybe by somehow getting a good school, and then because of your good grades, you get moved to the top section, or given special attention, getting special training, and then you move to high school, get to the nice science high school or some good school. At each level, passing maybe exams or some selection system. Everyone who has arrived at this point somehow has passed through that system in some form or another. But think about what happens to those who fail to be included in that small group. Think about OYSI. You are being looked at because maybe many of you, some of you will become academicians. But how about those who are not members? So the point is, when you exclude some people, those excluded sometimes really fare very, very badly. And sometimes, just given the same opportunities, they will do just as well. So by segregating, for instance, talent, maybe even sometimes at an early age, in the long run, this may not be the wiser way to attack the problem from a really systemic or from a long strategic point of view. And a lot of students are really excluded as early as elementary school. Those who are excluded eventually become even more disenchanted with studying sciences, thinking that science and mathematics is only for a few, only for the elite. Sabi ni Alan, when educators talk about reform, in the end, it is simplified to this discourse. He says, well, identify those who are talented, then give them all the support. That's it. Which is fine, except that, again, we forget about a larger number of students who are not included in this selected pool. See, we seem to be counting on a small group to really lead us where we want to go. And the rest really come from the poorer sectors of our country or society, the marginalized, the disadvantaged, like PWDs, indigenous cultures, women, other groups. Sabi ni Marx, di ba? Education benefits only the ruling class. If you think about it, ruling class here, meaning the wealthy and the elite. Parang ganun pa nga in many places. No? What do we know about poverty and education? We all know that when you're poor, you have less resources. Okay? But there is now very clear evidence that poverty and low educational performance are really related in a strong way. Children who come from poor families or whose parents have little or no education eventually end up getting poor, becoming poor themselves. And so this is vicious cycle, a trap that our poor children eventually fall into. What do I want to say about this link? Well, in the past, it was not, we all realized that because of the lack of resources, poor children cannot succeed as well as others. But now scientists know that there's even a biological link between poverty and low educational achievement. What do we know? In the last 10 years, scientists have pointed to working memory as the key variable linking poverty and achievement. What is working memory? Working memory is that facility that allows us to hold information and do things like calculations, learn languages, do simple computations, learn and so on, manipulations. Precisely the skills, for instance, that school children take when they go through this battery of exams. Poor children have weaker working memory, and biology or the sciences tell us that this really, well, there is a link, biological link. So children in poverty have consistently less developed working memory, allowing them to do poorly in problem solving, in language, in reading. And when this happens, which is pushed by stress overworks the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that concerned with memory, then that cycle, that series of failures will now start increasing. Just to flash you some recent maybe 10 years ago from the proceedings of the National Academy of Arts and Sciences, Academy of Sciences in the US, they started pinpointing this link between poverty and educational achievement. So what do we want? We really want science and mathematics to develop in everyone. A science culture for everyone, meaning that the people value or scientific thinking is given value. Yeah, and then if we do this, then this will be a big boost to really achieving our national development goals. So I just want to say that while we are focusing, which is well on looking at our PhDs and our graduate students, our majors, we need good science and mathematics available for all. Math and science should not be filters. They should not be used to filter out, to exclude people. Sometimes we do this, we rationalize this because we say we are a poor country, we have limited resources. But math and science should be pumps. What do I mean by this? The logical thinking that one is trained in mathematics, the scientific way of thinking in the sciences, we should harness this so that students will flourish and do well, maybe not even in the sciences, in the humanities, in the social sciences, and other disciplines. But we have to really push the good training, education, and science math for all. I think this is part of the sophisticated and astute, although maybe a bit long-term approach that Secretary Padolina was talking about. So, in closing, I want to say, let us try to find ways to really provide the best science and math education for all. When we face students, when we think about reform, let us think about those who we maybe inadvertently, unintentionally exclude. Because when we try to develop everyone, then we will have a bigger, more fertile ground from which talent can spring. Toby Dairit told me, we all know that, but we really need leaders who will push this agenda, leaders who will give education a lot of importance. I heard earlier that our President Rao thinking about education. Hindi ko alam eh. I'm not so confident. Kasi nung nangangampanya pa lang, kinabahan na kami sa mathematics. Sabi niya, papatayin namin yan, yung calculus. Sabi niya, ano bang, these are crazy things. It does not serve the purpose at all. Pinapahirapan lang ang mga bata. Well, hindi lahat ng mahirap ay hindi mahalaga. No? Eh si Pinoy naman, actually, baka mas may improvement, sabi ko, champion of artificial intelligence. Na. Di ba? Okay. But let's listen to the experts. Sabi ni Father Nevres, we need a literate culture for all. If you want to improve education, you improve it at all levels. And when we improve it our way, not necessarily the way Americans do it or the Japanese do it. Sabi ni Mao nga, let 100 flowers bloom during the Cultural Revolution. At sabi ni Rizal, whose 158th birthday we celebrated a month ago, sabi niya, genius has no country. It blossoms everywhere. It is like the light, the air. It is the heritage of all. No good water comes from muddy spring, and no sweet fruit comes from a bitter seed. Sabi ni Rizal yan, we always can learn a lot from our national hero. And one more, sabi niya rin sa El Fili, ano sa makatwid ang isang universidad? Isang institusyon para hindi matuto? Nagtitipon-tipon ba ang ilang tao sa ngalan ng kaalaman at pagtuturo para hadlangang matuto ang iba? What was he talking about? I think he was partly talking about inclusivity. So, with that, thank you very much. And I would like to thank my sponsors for this opportunity. Thank you.
Alright, maraming salamat po, Dr. Joey Balmaceda. Math talaga, kayang balansihin ang katotohanan at katatawanan. Alright, let us now proceed with the open forum. We would like to invite our speakers on stage. Our speakers, Ma'am Carla, Sir Joey, Sir Conrado, Ma'am Quaresma, please be on stage. For our audience, if you have questions, we're a bit tight on time, but for our audience, if you have questions to the speakers, please approach the microphones. Please state your name, designation, and institution. We would allot questions for about only 2 to 3 questions for the open forum. But our speakers are here to answer your queries. Please. Mga gustong magpa-extend ng programa dyan at proyekto, baka kunin na ninyo ang inyong mga microphone. Meron po bang magtatanong? Yes, sir. Al.
Magandang hapon po. Ang tanong ko po ay para kay Ma'am Carla. Ma'am hindi po sa pagpapa-extend. Tungkol po ito sa Balik PhD program. Paano po kung meron kaming napupusuan na gustong i-hire na magbabalik PhD pero wala po kaming plantilla?
Well, that's one of the bigger challenges for the Balik PhD program is looking for the plantilla items. The former President Pascual and current President Concepcion have been in discussions with DBM to get additional items. I don't know how close we are yet to getting that. But in the meantime, we can try to look for units which have vacant plantilla items and you can borrow while we're working to get the additional items.
So ma'am, pag manghihiram po, papadaanin po sa opisina ninyo para may power.
May power? Pwede, sige. Pero yun nga, if you have already units in mind, we can discuss it with your chancellors.
Salamat,
and then we can just facilitate the request for items.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Para meron siyang nanakawan, bantayan niyo yung inyong mga plantilla. Mag-hire kayo like tomorrow. Alright, meron pa pong may tanong? Any more questions for our speakers?
Gutom na.
Gutom na ba? Alright, sino pa po? Si Sir Jun. Sir Belisario.
Jun Belisario po, College of Public Health, UP Manila. Paano po pag may i-recruit kami na balik PhD or balik scientist na dual citizen? ano ang tsansa po niyang tenure kung gusto magpa-tenure sa University of the Philippines?
Nabanggit na kanina na we have a problem with the dual citizen law. So sana yung i-recruit nyo walang dual citizen because again the president is the UP president is currently working to make an amend or have some consideration in that regard, but it's rather difficult at this point. So medyo mahirap pa tayo dun sa dual citizens because you cannot you cannot secure tenure for them. We can appoint them for certain periods but not give them tenure.
Yes po, sir. Si Sir Dr. Yumol.
I'm Jun Yumol. I retired from the university, Taxet DOST, way back in 2012, and I joined the private sector. And I've just retired last week. Anyway, having said that, this is really a comment. Nung pumasok ako, 1990, ang secretary ko was, I think, Secretary Polyosco yata. Then after that, si Dr. Padolina, then si Nina Rabastro, then Boy de la Peña. The problems we had way back in 1990 are the same things that I've been hearing up to this point in time. But one thing that was mentioned a while ago by Secretary de la Peña is that UP graduated 55 summa cum laudes this year, which is good. And there was a simple explanation given for that. Flynn effect. And what's the Flynn effect? Kaya daw 55 yung summa cum laudes, hindi nangangahulugan dahil magaling sila. Sinasabi lang, Flynn effect. Sinasabi lang, the environment is there to make more cum laudes, magna cum laudes, summa cum laudes. Yung sinabi ni Joey, yung sinabi ng lahat, especially East-West Seed, that's very nice. All the ingredients are there. Having foreign collaborations, then having a definite program, having a national program for S&T is good. I think yung role talaga nung kayo na nakaupo dyan, we really ensure that the young next batch of OYS would really have that kind of environment. Kasi yun lang if for the last 30 years, we have the same problem, hindi na yung sistema yung problema, di ba? It's something else, something deeper. So I think yun lang naman observation ko. I came from the private sector and things are totally different. Yung COA, wala kaming COA. Pag may bibiling kami, isang tao lang yung magre-request. Wala kaming problema sa posisyon. Pag kailangan namin, the board will say, create the position. Pag kailangan namin ng pera, as long as the return of investment is justified, you get it. So these things are possible, and it is just a matter of applying it in the S&T community. And I'm still part of the S&T community. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yumol, for your insights. Okay, last tawad, meron pa ba? Pwede daw, may isa pa. Ma'am.
Puro junior ang mga nagsasalita.
Senior citizen ako.
Junior looking.
From my experience as a child up to adulthood at ngayon ay senior citizen ako, one thing is clear, the teacher is a very important component of the learning process. There are teachers who can expound on a very difficult subject, napapadali nila. And there are cum laude teachers, summa or magna, hindi naman marunong magturo pero they are bright. So yung messaging, how a difficult subject can be taught easily. Siguro kung si Duterte, ang teacher niya si Joey or someone else in this room, hindi niya hate ang math. So teaching is both an art and a skill.
Hindi daw siya makapangako, sabi ni Dr. Joey. Anyway, tried and tested. Any more? Sir, Dr. Cordero.
Another June Patulogya Senior. About the paper of Dr. De Malanta, you were saying that you are deploying your Balik Scientist PhD graduates to those only 5 campuses of UP. It did not include UP Tacloban. I am with UP Tacloban, not anymore this time, but I am with the Eastern Visayas State University, Board of Regents. But I could feel that we need those people in the region more than in Manila.
Well, sir, the figure I showed are the the Balik PhD recruits and where they are now appointed as faculty. So we have, I think, a few of them are in UPV, but I'm not sure if they're in Tacloban or in the Miagao campus. So if you have somebody in mind that you want to bring into UP Tacloban, then you can try to identify your expert from abroad, and if you have that plantilla item, then you can have that person appointed in the Balik PhD program.
Yeah, just a follow-up, a short thing. Talking about science, I'm with Eastern Visayas State University, as I said, with the Board of Regents, but I also teach. And I'm happy to tell the group, the OYS, that I am producing science. They are not really science, Bachelor of Science students. They are education, majoring in science. And I had for this last batch that we graduated, about 17 of them. And I'm very happy to tell you that of the 17, one got a magna and 11 a cum laude. And I'd like these people to find a way to that program so that probably can produce our own graduates who could man our school, our laboratories in the region. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Another round of applause for our plenary speakers. At this juncture, may we ask President Merlin Mendioro to come up to stage for the Certificate of Appreciation awarding. Okay. The certificate reads, the Outstanding Young Scientists Incorporated, Philippine Academy of Young Scientists presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Drs. Maria Cristeta N. Cuaresma, Dr. Conrado Balatero, Dr. Carla B. De Malanta, and Dr. Jose Maria Balmaceda for their invaluable contributions as plenary speakers in the 14th Annual Meeting and Scientific Convention with the theme Philippines Got Talent, Sustainable Education, Talent Retention and Development, given this 9th day of July 2019 at the Sofitel Philippine Plaza, Manila, signed by Dr. Merlin S. Mendioro, President. A round of applause for our plenary speakers. Thank you very much. Now let me call on Dr. Wendell L. Rivera, OYS 2006, Vice President, Outstanding Young Scientists Incorporated, for his closing remarks. A round of applause, please.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Maraming salamat sa nagstay hanggang sa closing. We have actually reached the end of this 14th OYSI Annual Meeting and Scientific Convention, and we are pleased that we had a fruitful discussion regarding the challenges and approaches on the retention and development of human capital in the country. Okay, so let me have a synthesis of what we have actually considered in this meeting. At the opening session, of course, we've heard the welcome remarks of our President, Dr. Mendioro, and she encouraged everyone to impart recommendations to address the challenges brought by the brain drain problem by effectively training, retaining, and utilizing the Philippines' human capital. There have been many interesting and useful presentations in this important issue, and I hope that everyone has learned new ideas from the talks. So with this, I would like to briefly review some of the main points aired during this meeting. Academician Asansa mentioned in her opening remarks the lineup of current and forthcoming NAST projects, including those that will benefit the outstanding young scientists. And we are thankful to NAST for its continued support to the OYSI. In Academician Padolina's keynote speech, He highlighted that the Philippines has no option but to be competitive and vigorous towards adopting a crash program of talent development, attraction, and retention. And this urgent quest to establish a talented workforce should be fostered amidst the increasingly fast pace of technological changes and complex challenges of our country's development agenda. Of course, we've heard the message of Secretary de la Peña, and he gave us a positive and bright future for the Philippine science and technology. Meanwhile, in her talk regarding the building of talents and capabilities for the development of agricultural and rural regions in Southeast Asia, Dr. Quaresma underscored the various capacity building programs that the University Consortium for Graduate Education in Agriculture and Natural Resources, or UC in CIRCA, has been doing. Some of these were awarding of graduate degree and non-degree programs, scholarships, providing institutional development assistance to selected agricultural universities, funding research projects, staff, student exchanges, and the provision of support programs. Now, shifting to a more specific perspective, Dr. Balatero talked about best practices in talent management in the seed industry, particularly in a company focused on serving smallholders, farmers. He mentioned that leadership potential, as opposed to technical proficiency, plays a very critical role and is thus an important attribute to consider when selecting and assessing talents. Now, University of the Philippines' experience towards increasing its PhD faculty complement was presented by Dr. Dimalanta. The UP Balik PhD recruitment program is one of the several programs embarked by the university to lead the country towards developing a knowledge-based economy. Since 2013, it has recruited 45 Balik PhDs and postdoctoral fellows from US, Japan, Europe, and Taiwan, and more than half of whom are now faculty members in different academic units in the UP system. Now, these Balik PhDs also continue to inspire undergraduate and graduate students through their significant contributions in the scientific community, and many of them have been recipients of several prestigious awards, including the Outstanding Young Scientist Award of the DOST-Philippines. Lastly, academician Balmaceda challenged the group by emphasizing that our educational institutions and the systems they are embedded in are still far from being sustainable, a glaring indicator of which is the huge number of out-of-school children and the high attrition rate in schools at all levels. He recommends a more inclusive education system that is able to provide quality teaching, as these serve as foundations for producing scientific talent needed to advance the Philippines' development agenda. So the OYSI would like to take this opportunity to thank the National Academy of Science and Technology, the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development, Bayer Philippines, CIRCA, National Fisheries Research and Development Institute, the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources Research and Development, or PICARD, and the Philippine Carabao Center for sponsoring this event. Finally, I would like to express my appreciation to all the participants for taking your time out of your office and busy schedule to attend this occasion. Of course, to DOST-Philippines, the Secretariat, for organizing this event and ensuring that it would run smoothly. And we look forward to seeing all of you again in 2020, next year, when we will all reconvene to discuss another topic. So thank you, everyone, for your active participation, and I wish you a safe journey.
Okay. Thank you po, Mr. Vice President Wendell. Pero yun lang yung formal part. Actually, hindi pa tayo tapos kasi may business meeting pa tayo. So we realized, ito po medyo nag-change kami ng schedule. We realized that food matters. So can we agree on a working lunch? So basically po, the food is served outside. Kindly go in and serve and get your food. And then we will proceed to the business meeting in about 15 minutes when people have obtained their food. There was a special request, kung gusto daw po yung mauna, yung merong mga senior citizen card, pakita nyo lang. At mauna kayo sa lahat ng pila. Ang OAC 2019, doon kayo sa dulo. Okay. So come on and let's have our lunch. Thank you very much.
So while you're falling in line, let me again acknowledge our sponsors, the National Academy of Science and Technology Philippines, DOST-Philippines, the Philippine Council for Health, Research and Development, PCHRD, Bayer Philippines, the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, CRCA, the National Fisheries Research and Development Institute, NFRDI, the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources Research and Development, or PICARD, and the Philippine Carabao Center. Thank you very much for making this activity and event possible.
Iho, thank you ha. Salamat.